Thank you, Adrian. A very good evening to you. Welcome to the first of this season's 3 European finals, which provides the chance for one club to extend their extraordinary record in the Europa League, and the other the chance to secure the most significant continental victory in their history. When Jose Mourinho led Roma to the Conference League trophy a year ago, he completed the modern-day set of European trophies, and amidst the conjecture surrounding his future, he now has the chance to win a 6th some 20 years after his first. Not that his side have arrived in Budapest in any kind of form. Their Champions League hopes now solely dependent on the result tonight after their late season collapse in Serie A, which has seen them go 7 without a victory. All efforts have gravitated towards Europe. Will it pay off? Well, the first of Mourinho's European trophies was delivered 2 decades ago last week, coincidentally in Seville, with the Porto side that made Jose's name. It's Savilla that stand in his way tonight, a club reborn after their shambles of the season was transformed by Jose Mendilibar, the third man at the Blanquirrojos helm, who quickly galvanised the wreckage he inherited from Messrs Lopetegui and Sampaoli. They should have been eliminated by Manchester United, whose first half dominance in the first leg of the quarter-final was so marked that they ought to have been out of sight. 2 late own goals got them back in the tie in the most unlikely of circumstances. Their superb second leg victory gave the first real indication that this could be their year yet again. Now, having seen off Juventus, they're in their 7th final in this competition's incarnations, and they have won each of the previous 6. Well, this is the side they've picked as they aim for number 7, Bono in goal. Captain Jesus Navas makes his 653rd appearance for the club. Barde, who didn't make a single appearance in his loan spell at Forest, Gudela and Alex Telles on loan from Manchester United make up the back 4. In midfield, another Man City old boy, Fernando, alongside Rakitic, who once scored in a Champions League final. Ocampos, Oliver Torres and Brian Hill on loan from Tottenham, and 18-goal in the series up top. Roma named 7 of the team that started their victorious Europa Conference League final win last season, including former Wolves keeper Rui Patricio, who's made more appearances in the Europa League than any other player ever. There's a back 3 of Mancini and Ibanez, either side of Chris Smalling, who won the Europa League 6 years ago with Manchester United. Celik and Spinazzola at wing-back, Cristante, Matic and Pellegrini in midfield, with Pellegrini pushing forward to support the front 2 of Dybala, who starts, despite Jose's proclamations he was only fit for 20 to 30 minutes, and Tammy Abraham. The benches for Sevilla, it's Montiel, Rekic, Suso, Jordan, Rafa Mir, Nianzou, former Roma player Eric Lamela and Marcao, Gomez and Bueno, keepers Alberto Flores and Dimitrovic. For Roma, Karsdorp, Belotti, Llorente and Camara, Wijnaldum, Bove, Zalewski, Volpato, El Shawari and Tahirovic, keeper Boa and Savilla, and the referee, part of an all-English officiating team, is Anthony Taylor. With Real Madrid have been the undisputed masters of the Champions League, Europe's second competition has seen similar dominance from another white-clad Spanish outfit. Sevilla have won the Europa League almost as many times as all of the non-Spanish sides put together. Tonight, they eye a 5th success in 10 years to deprive Jose Mourinho's Roma of their biggest ever European victory. Both clubs in their traditional colours. Roma in the blood-red shirts with the gold trim, Sevilla in white shirts and shorts and black socks. And as we look at it, it is Sevilla who kick from left to right. Roma from the kick-off on the front foot, taking the ball into the billowing smoke from the smoke bombs that have been launched by the Sevilla supporters. Roma with the first opportunity to attack, a long throw inside the penalty area, which is headed away and out of play for the first corner of the night. I'm delighted to say alongside me is Scott Minto. Good evening, Scott.
Good evening, Jim. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Been a decent start in the first minute or so, wasn't it, from Roma? Very much on the front foot. We were wondering whether they'll play very defensive as they normally do and have done in the second leg in the semi-final. But with Dybala in there, it's almost as if, why not use him? You're not going to have him for the whole 90 minutes, certainly not whole 120. So let's see if they do try and go at them.
So this first corner, a right-footed away swinger, which is well headed away at the back by Gudela. That was a nasty clash of heads. Referee Anthony Taylor immediately stopping play. Ibanez is the Roma player who's down. Gudela throwing himself at it. The defending was brave and physical, and the clash of heads between the pair of them absolutely inevitable.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that the clash of heads and Anthony Taylor spot on in terms of just stopping it. Ibanez has caught it there. Both of them have gone down. Ibanez is back up again. I think that's something which definitely with most Jose Mourinho teams, but certainly with this one, with the height they've got, Roma's set pieces will be certainly a danger for Sevilla. Need to watch out. Defended the first one well. I get the feeling it's certainly not going to be the last.
Yeah, he's making his 150th appearance for the club. Man who was sent off in the Rome derby. A couple of Brazilian international caps.
It does look really painful, Jim. I have to say, come straight into Gudea, and he's the last one down, and the last one to get up as well. It looks okay. Just got to be careful, obviously with a head injury.
This is being led away now through the 6-yard box. He's going to be able to continue. He'll be okay. The play will restart with this free kick to Seville, taken by their goalkeeper Bono, who was a part of the side that won this competition back in 2020. A fair few survivors from that team featuring today, including their captain Jesus Navas, who also won it back in 2006 and 2007 in its previous incarnation as the UEFA Cup. He's in possession now, Navas. Over 650 Sevilla games behind him. He played 180 odd for Manchester City as well. All work through the midfield. Rakitic just leaning back, angling one down towards Navas. Blue captain's armband around his left arm. It's not the worst ball inside the penalty area. Headed away, then he's just trying to tease it back in towards Campos on the right-hand touchline, who can work it down the line. An opportunity potentially to deliver, but Oliver Torres couldn't get on the end of it. He but lies face down in the turf, but it was good, strong defending by the covering Nemanja Matic. And the ball has gone out of play for a goal kick. 4 minutes gone in the Europa League final here on talksport. And it's Sevilla 0, Roma 0. The former Chelsea defender Scott Minto alongside.
Yeah, Matic, a player that Jose Mourinho likes. He's taken him to different places. Just sits in front of that back three or back four, and he's got his own physicality as well. Certainly showed it there. Covered well. Again, both teams just in the first couple of minutes trying to attack. It's not as if they're just sitting back at the moment. Sometimes in these finals you feel each other out. It's been a decent start without major chances.
One clearance by Rui Patricio. It was the second season at Roma after the 3 that he had with good success at Wolves prior to that. The ball out of play for a throw that will be taken over on the Roma right-hand side by Zeki Celik. Former French league winner in his Lille days. He's been given a return ball by Cristante that wasn't the best. Gave him little opportunity to be able to do anything constructive with it. Sevilla winning the seconds in the midfield with Rakitic laying it back. And then Gudelja will play it down to Navas again. Navas working it forward over the halfway line. En-Nesyri, Smalling in there behind him as En-Nesyri, the leader of the line, tried to play with his back to the direction of play. There have been a fair few scrappy exchanges in the opening 5 minutes or so. This latest one seeing the ball go out of play for a throw that Spinazzola will take on the Roma left-hand side. Chucks it down the line, and Dybala up there going for it, knocked away from him by Bardet. We touched upon it in the build-up, Scott, but it is a very interesting selection, that of Dybala tonight. It's some typical Mourinho mind games where he was talking about his medical assessment of him as Abraham hooks it inside the area, looking for Dybala here, but could be calmed down pretty neatly by Rakitic inside his own penalty area, and they'll get it away towards Campos. Now the break could be on for Sevilla, bringing it forward over the halfway line. A turn by Oliver Torres back very neatly through the midfield, and there's plenty of space here for Rakitic to make his way forward. Bypasses Fernando and working it out for Alex Telles. Back for Fernando again. Now he's gone deeper to Loic Bardet. I think I'm right in saying, had he made a single appearance for Nottingham Forest in that loan spell, wouldn't have been eligible to have played tonight, because it would have meant that he started his career having started the season in French football. He wouldn't have been able to play for 3 different clubs over the course of the campaign.
That's incredible, isn't it? I mean, how well he's done in the Sevilla shirt. Really surprising that he didn't get a game for Nottingham Forest, but he'll be thankful he didn't in the end now, because he has done really well, and now he's playing in the European final.
side have a corner there first. Roma had one in the opening minute or so. And Rakitic is going to go across to take it. Tammy Abraham amongst those back defending. And so Rakitic just walks away from the corner quadrant. There was a sea of missiles being thrown down in his direction. Nothing more serious, I don't think, than the odd lighter. Maybe a few vapes as well, but he just walked away. Just told the referee what the situation was. As a handshake from Dybala to Rakitic as he makes his way back down towards that corner flag again now, which clearly is the corner flag in front of the travelling Roma supporters. So it looks as though he's just going to knock one in short, thinks better of it, he drives it in, and it's a great header away from Abraham at the near post. Got really good power and distance on it.
A brilliant header from Tammy, and you have to say, okay, he hasn't scored the goals and that's what he's there for, but he is good in both boxes in terms of set pieces and those crosses coming in. That was a wonderful header.
He has developed this tendency to do in this second season under Mourinho, is just drop deep as a focal point of the attack, but the deeper he comes, it allows midfield runners in past him, so it's all part of his game. It's more difficult to judge him on the mere numbers alone, really.
Well, that's why it's important that Jose Mourinho doesn't. If you're going to ask, if you're the manager and you ask your centre forward, who really should be the focal point up front, to drop off and to drop in at any given time, then you can't judge him. And to be fair, I don't think Jose Mourinho does, but if I know most strikers, and maybe this is where he does need, we talked earlier about how he needs to get a little bit nastier, more selfish really. Most strikers are selfish and they want those numbers. They can win 4-0, not score and still not go off the pitch totally happy. I get the feeling Tammy's not quite like that. He's a ball player. He's not an out-and-out goal scorer, but you just want to keep those numbers up like he had last season.
Yeah, well, from 27 last season to 9 this season. It is a big drop. Well, clearly it's a drop off of 2/3 of his goal return. He's just dropped deep right on cue to come to meet that, and just headed it down. He gave Pellegrini the opportunity to try and tease one over the top for Dybala's run, but it was overhit and goes through for Bono, the Sevilla goalkeeper. 9 gone 0-0.
And that's what you want. If you're going to play that ball up there, and Tammy's going to be dropping off, you need the likes of Dybala and Pellegrini going in behind, because that's where the space is. There's no point in asking everyone to drop off, because Sevilla, as a defender, I can tell you from a defender's point of view, I'd be absolutely delighted just to players playing in front of me all the time, but it's when they go in behind. So if Tammy is dropping off, then you needed Dybala or Pellegrini going in behind.
Ibanez playing the ball forward from the edge of his own penalty area. Comes down for Spinazzola on the Roma left. Who's injured in the first leg of that tie against Manchester United. Now it goes back for the former United man Smalling. Smalling across towards Mancini. They do stretch the three centre-halves pretty wide when they're in possession, Roma. And Savilla have turned the ball over on halfway. With 10 minutes in. Jim Powerful, Scott Minto talking through the action in the UEFA Europa League final for 2023. Sevilla coming into it on the back of 2 defeats in 15. Roma on the back of only 1 win in 9 in all competitions, which was against Leverkusen in the first leg of the semi-final. Young Bove scoring the winner in that game. And his reward has been to be omitted today. Is Zeki Celik trying to break down the right-hand side. Knocked out the play off him by Alex Telles for a throw. In fact, it didn't take another touch on its way out. It will be a throw to Roma. So I tell you, the referee just telling him to retrace his steps. Now Matic can bring it forward. Pass just in behind Spinazzola, so he had to stop his run for a moment. He's got possession now. Long right-footed angle pass out towards the Roma right, controlled by Dybala. Dybala cutting in from that corner flag. This is very clever. To the edge of the area, and Spinazzola with the effort that was saved relatively routinely by Bono. He was good in to play around the edge of the penalty area. Celik with the pullback, and Spinazzola met it sweetly, but he couldn't get the direction.
It was brilliant interplay, and it started off with Spinazzola with a 50-yard crossfield ball to Dybala. Great play down the right-hand side where Celik finds himself. He just kind of hammers it across, but a bit of a cutback as well. He's on Spinazzola's right foot. He actually had time and space to take a touch. By deciding to take it first time, he didn't have full control on it. Tried to just side foot it, but with pace. Unfortunately for him, it went straight at the keeper, but a wonderful chance.
Yeah, he would much rather, as you alluded to there, that had come onto his left. as Roma work it forward again, and Bono, with the aid of Gudelia, can come out of the 6-yard box and claim before it got to the feet of Rossi, attacking the penalty area. It's been a good start this from Roma, though. With 12 minutes gone at 0-0, they've had the better side to goal.
Just about to say, Jim, we wondered how Roma would play, and as I say, with Dybala in the side, there's no point in just completely sitting back. You've got to try and give him the ball, and that's what they're trying to do. Very much on the attack, Roma, so far. The best start from them.
Well, not necessarily the Jose way to approach a game in this manner, but it's almost as if he's looking at Dybala and saying, okay, the game plan is we'll get ourselves ahead and then we'll back ourselves to be able to keep a clean sheet against just about any team, and so that means we only get 45 minutes out of Dybala, but he leaves the field when we're 1-0 up. That he will feel will be a significant part of the job done. That seems to be the way he's approaching this.
I think that's absolutely the tactics. You know, you've got Dybala starting, so really try to go for it. Not gung-ho, of course, but try and be positive. And what you also do when you're in a European final, everyone's a little bit nervous, Jim, even if you've been there before. You want to start well, and it's amazing how the momentum can go if you have started well, both from a positive side from the team who are starting well, and a negative side from the team who have been under pressure. So it's been all good so far from Mourinho's team.
Well, those are the thoughts of Scott Minto. You're listening to the Europa League live on talksport with Till, the card payment provider from NatWest. Barde plays the ball down towards Navas. Navas takes a touch, and then with his second he whacks it down the line. Smalling comes across and sweeps up, puts it out of play. He's played nearly 150 games for Roma now, Chris Smalling. Flash in the pan is Italian career, and Tammy Abraham's over 100 for the club as well in his 2 seasons. They've both done an exceptional job.
Yeah, if you talk about Tammy Abraham going under the radar, then Chris Smalling certainly has, and I think there's been a time where I believe he should have been in the England squad and recalled again. I think he's really, as Kevin was saying earlier, he's really integrated himself into life in Rome and in Italy as well. And I know what it's like from personal experience. I tried to learn the language in Portugal. I tried to really take in the culture, and it makes such a difference that people do appreciate it. And on the pitch as well, I think defensively he looks really, really good, but also he looks good on the ball when he has to bring the ball out. So he's definitely improved by going out to Italy.
Now, it'll be a good, tough test for him today up against En-Nesyri, but he hasn't allowed him a kick so far. Smalling playing his part in getting Roma upfield in this phase of play as well, though Navas is going to be able to whack it back into Roma territory, and Smalling doesn't panic under a little bit of pressure, just goes almost down to his knees in turning and flicking a header back for his goalkeeper Rui Patricio. They play it out from the back. Even yes, had that nasty clash of heads in the early stages with Gudelia, but he's okay and he's in possession now. Here's Gianluca Mancini, a player with an unenviable disciplinary record, 13 yellows this season, and he sends a crossfield ball out towards Abraham, who just let his legs do the talking there. The ball stayed dead still, but the Savilla defender right in front of him was perplexed. Abraham then, as he tried to bring it forward, gave a free kick away, which will be taken on the Sevilla right-hand side. 15 gone 0.
And that's what we're talking about just there. Tammy Abraham had pulled himself out to the left, where a lot of strikers, and again I'm sort of liking it to sort of Erling Haaland, he will stay more or less in between the lines of the 2 goal posts. By Tammy Abraham coming outside, it takes him away from the goal, but he's willing to do that for the team. The crossfield pass came in, clearly worked in training, and then you've got the likes of Dybala and Pellegrini pushing on. In the end, they just couldn't get out of that situation.
Possession about 60-40 to Sevilla. And there's no surprise that they're the ones that are dominating it at the moment, but we've only had the 1 shot in the game, and that was the effort from Spinazzola, which was relatively comfortably beaten away by Bono, the Moroccan, who made 6 appearances at the World Cup, another player who has won this competition before. A lot of the Sevilla starting lineup have. Is Navas, who's in his 4th final. They play forward towards the Campos. He'll control it a little bit awkwardly, but he turns inside away from Spinazzola. Fernando can work it out towards the Sevilla left-hand side. An opportunity now for Telles to try and bring it forward. Linking up with Brian Hill. Back he goes through the midfield for Loic Barde. Now down towards Rakitic. Gudelia with the long hair, just played down towards the right-hand side of midfield for Oliver Torres. Navas will come in off the flank. Roma not committing themselves, allowing Sevilla the opportunity to have possession, not get too far, but they're certainly not coming out and pressing. And then as a long diagonal is sent out towards the Sevilla left, there's another nasty clash, and I think Zeki Celik is the player that has gone down injured here, going up for it with Alex Tellez. There's an aerial challenge that's left him in some distress, and he's writhing in pain.
Yeah, you can see again another crossfield ball. Alex Tellez coming in strong. It's a good header actually from Celik, but because they've both got their eyes on the ball, it's Celik he hasn't got the header, but he's just, I think, in the midriff. He's caught Celik there, and that can be painful for sure.
Tellez protesting his innocence, but the referee obliged to stop play. It was again a potentially nasty one.
What you want, though, Jim, in a final, if you're having a ball hung up, you want to try and win it, of course, but be a little bit physical if you can. Just tell your opposition number you're up for the fight. He certainly did it there.
Yeah, Zeki Celik knows now that that is the case. This is the first of 3 European finals that will bring you here on talksport. Next Wednesday is the Conference League final out in Prague. West Ham hoping for their first European success apart from the Intertoto Cup since the 1960s, and they take on Fiorentina. It is their first European final for 47 years. Adrian Samadafface and Dean Ashton, your commentary team, next Wednesday night out in Prague. Conference League final, and the following Saturday the Champions League final. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff in Istanbul. Manchester City against Inter. They could be going for the treble by then. We'll find out together this coming Saturday, the FA Cup final, as City take on United. Manchester derby, the first ever Manchester derby in the FA Cup final, so I'm sure you're aware. And that, with a build-up at 1, kicks off at 3 this coming Saturday here on talksport.
Can I just take you about 20 seconds or so there? Thank you for mentioning the Intertoto. Okay, it's not a major trophy, but I was a part of the team that West Ham got that. So
I had a sneaky suspicion you might be. I thought I better pull back from the brink when I said it was going to be their first European success. The glorious Intertoto Cup.
Yeah, let's move swiftly on.
Taken so seriously. Back in the day when it first started, when I remember teams were getting beat 7-8-0, weren't they? The English sides, and they just didn't want any part of it at all. But it soon gained a little bit of traction.
Well, it was a way to get into the UEFA Cup back then fine. And I remember our first game, I think it was our second pre-season game, and our first was literally after a couple of days training. So yeah, blisters everywhere. But once you get towards the end and you got a chance of the qualification, then go for it. And we won the Intertoto Cup.
Well, the Conference League was not quite similarly derided, but not too far short when that was first mooted. Look at it now. I mean, West Ham with an opportunity to win it. Villa fans, I know, very excited about their prospects of being in it next year as well. You tell the Roma fans that it means nothing. Tell Jose that it means nothing. He's got it written on his arm in perpetuity, for goodness sake. So it means something to him.
It's another trophy, and I tell you what, Aston Villa next season with Emery in charge, every chance.
Mourinho's current lot on the front foot here with Spinazzola, left-hand side of the penalty area. Cross that's hit Jesus Navas and is driven away. Knows how to play for a throw. And Matic doing what Matic does so effectively, covering the ground in the midfield and just allowing the ball players around him to have an effect and to get possession back. Dybala with a heavy touch trying to work it to Abraham inside the penalty area, but it goes out. And for a goal kick that'll be taken by Yacine Bono, the Sevilla goalkeeper, who has played in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals of this competition this season. He's not playing league games these days for Sevilla. They've got the Serbian international Marko Dimitrovic, who has been playing the league games. At one time, Charlton goalkeeper, you might remember back in the day, although it was a kind of blink and you miss it time that he had at the Valley. He is the first choice, but Bono is the man that has been playing in this competition. Matic going up for an aerial battle in the midfield as caught Campos, and Campos is down holding his face, and Matic feels as though that was a soft one. Is Anthony Taylor going to produce a yellow card? I think he might. It's going to be the first of the game.
Yeah, I think he is. He's got it out, and we've had quite a few head clashes now already, haven't we? Which I think again shows that teams quite happy to knock it long if they want to. Listen, I think Matic, he has caught him, and I understand that is very, very painful. I think when you jump, you have to put your arm up. Maybe he's just made sure that you're not coming past that arm, and you've got to be careful. And Nancy Taylor's point of view, it's a little bit too much. I think it's slightly harsh. It's a foul, but it's one of those where you're certainly not going to be overturned.
Just calling really with the elbow underneath the ear. It would have been a very sore one for Ocampos. He's not making the most of it. So Matic is in the book. First player to have his name taken. We're midway through the first half, which has gone as many anticipated in terms of the fact that we've only seen one attempt in 22 minutes of play. But Roma have been a bit more proactive than many anticipated. Free kick here to Savilla. No surprise that Rakitic is the man that stands over. Roma keeping a relatively high back line. They all backpedaled as one, and between them were able to head it away. Goes back to halfway again. Another long ball launch fall from the Sevilla left-hand side down towards Campos, who's controlled it neatly. Navas making a run past him on the overlap. Campos will use him as the decoy and cut back inside instead. Rakitic then plays it down towards Navas again. It's level the edge of the Roma penalty area as he twists one way and then the other. Trying to commit Spinazzola. Didn't manage to do that. Cross comes in from Oliver Torres, headed away, comes back to Rakitic on the edge of the box, couldn't get a shot in. Then Oliver Torres will try and take it on, and Cristante can deal with that and get it clear through the midfield. Dybala claiming that he was pulled back by Bardet. Play's allowed to go on. Roma have it once more in the midfield with Cristante. It's all got a little bit scrappy again until Anthony Taylor's whistle punctuates proceedings, and he's found in Brian Hill's favour in the midfield. A little pull of the shirt, I think, by Cristante on him, and seeing the replay, he's just giving him a kick on the top of the foot as well. Free kick to Sevilla.
Have some of that on top of it. Look, we're 23 and a half minutes in, and it is strange to say there's no shots on goal, or one on goal and none off. But it's been a really good first half. It's been really competitive. Both teams trying to go for it. Yes, they've not opened up the defence so far, but you can see they're really at it. And you can't keep this up for 90 minutes or 120 minutes, Jim. So the game will start to slow down a little bit. The substitutions will be very, very important. And hopefully it will open up and there'll be more space. But at the moment, you've got two teams really trying to go for it toe-to-toe almost.
Well, Fernando's got the ball in the heart of the midfield for Sevilla. He didn't have it for long. Matic knocks it away from him. And then Pellegrini trying to make something happen. Fernando heads that one clear. Another big physical aerial contest is won by Mancini, but the loose ball breaks Sevilla's way. Navas trying to hook it inside the penalty area. Important header from Mancini. And then another one of the Roma players has gone down hurt. Ibanez inside the penalty area, his own penalty area again. And a shot went over the bar. But I think it's already clear we're going to have a fair bit of stoppage time at the end of this first half. We're 25 minutes in, it's 0-0. Ibanez, the latest, who's going to need some treatment here for a bang to the face.
Yeah, I'll have to just take a second look at what happened there. I don't normally like the centre-halves to be on the floor. You want it to be big and strong and almost sending a message to the centre-forwards, especially someone like El-Nassiri as well, that you're up for the challenge. The cross came in, it was a good cross. Yeah, and he's got caught, to be fair. He's put his hand. El-Nassiri's tried to jump. It's gone over him and Chris Smalling, and on the downward movement, he's just put his hand out on. You can see the defender, and I still think you want to be getting up. It's not that bad. Yeah, again, quite painful, but get up.
I read a scouting report ahead of this game. They were talking about potential ways that you can breach the back line, and it's that El-Nassiri's movement is good, that he can take two centre-halves out of the picture if he makes a run towards the near post area, and they will try and get a winger coming in at the far post, isolated against the other defender, and that is a way that they are able to create a lot of space. It'll be interesting to see whether that is something that actually does come to fruition.
I read the same report as well, Jim, and yeah, absolutely, it's the movement of El-Nassiri trying to take the defenders away. The problem is if you take one or even sometimes two, because you've got a back three, they still should be able to just look across that third centre back as who's coming in behind. So yeah, I'm sure Jose Mourinho, I'm sure they've been all over that report as well, and we'll be looking at the movement and that, and have been telling his defenders, okay, just pass them on. You don't always have to go with them, because if two are taken out the equation for one striker, then in theory there should be space elsewhere.
Roma have got a free kick. It's just inside their own half. Ibanez is okay, he's able to continue. Dybala, Jose said he would get 20 to 30 minutes. That was all he was fit for. He's played 27 so far. Ball is played forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Dybala's done well, actually flicking it on towards Abraham, and he will be able to reply in kind, just getting the top of his head to try and lever it on towards the edge of the penalty area, but Savilla got it away. Jose doesn't look too perturbed by anything that he's seen so far as he takes his place back down in the dugout. Ball cleared again down the left-hand side by Brian Hill. Loan from Spurs, with whom he's made 30-odd senior appearances. Space for Rakitic in the midfield, and then space for Navas, making his way forward from right back. Campos hugging the line on the Sevilla right-hand side. Navas is level with the edge of the penalty area. Right-footed ball away from Spinazzola, and then Smalling clears. Again, Nasiri is a man that's thrown himself down inside the penalty area, but the referee immediately pointed to him and said that he'd seen it, and play continues. And Barde, with a slightly awkward scuffed clearance, does manage to get it back to his keeper.
Yeah, look, first of all, when Navas had the ball, Spinazzola's allowing him to cross it. He's worried in behind, and it was a simple cross. The problem is Sevilla don't have enough numbers in there, and it was an easy clearance from Chris Smalling. They're positioning themselves really well defensively, Roma, and if you are going to put the ball in, you have to have numbers in, and Sevilla aren't doing that at the moment.
Here's Ivan Rakitic through the midfield towards Fernando down towards his teammate Jesus Navas. A pair of them at the Etihad together as well at one stage. Abraham getting it back in the midfield after it was won back by Pellegrini, and then very swiftly played out towards the far touchline, the Roma right. He worked back through the midfield. Mancini to Smalling. Even chose for the pass from him. Down towards Pellegrini again. Pellegrini just slows things down for a moment and then works it into the feet of Matic. Back again to Ibanez. Now to Chris Smalling. Smalling, who won this competition when he was a Manchester United player, one of more than 300 games that he played for the Old Trafford club. Long ball launched forward towards Spinazzola. Spinazzola turning away from a Campos. Those two have ordinarily been in direct confrontation in a much deeper position, with the Sevilla man taking on Spinazzola, but this time was the other way round. Sevilla have got it back and work it back for their goalkeeper again. Bono will clear it. High ball which Nasiri will flick on, but to nowhere in particular. There's no chance for Oliver Torres to get on the end of that, and Roma have got easy possession inside their own final third. Here's Scott Minto.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I haven't been a full-back and a wing-back myself. When you're playing wing-back, really, you've got two players to worry about. If you've got Navas bombing on, so you've got to be careful there, get players across. Spinazzola wants to try and take Campos the other way, try and be offensive, and that's what happened. They're looking for the crossfield ball. That came to Spinazzola, and then he's straight at Navas. He's a very good attacking player. He's able to come inside, of course, got a great cross on him as well. So if Roma are able to kind of just get Spinazzola on one side and Celik on the other, just a little bit further up, and attacking their Sevilla's fullbacks, then certainly they're much more on the front foot that way, rather than almost Roma becoming a back five.
The ball's gone out of play for a Roma throw. Celik's got the ball in his hands. The referee has just told players on both sides to wait. There's no indication that this is for any VAR incident or inspection. And the whistle blows and play can continue again. Throw taken by Celik. And just clipped forward. Straight back out of play by Telles for a throw that will be taken again on the Roma right-hand side, able to advance a good 10-15 yards down that touchline, and maybe 18 by the time he actually takes the throw. Nicked a few. Fernando heads it away. Gadelia with a high boot inside the penalty area. Abraham has gone down holding his face, and he got caught on the side of the head, I think. The referee has said wait as the ball's gone out of play for a throw. First of all, they've got to have a look and see what the severity of Abraham's injury is, but this is a potential check of the high boot from Gadelia as Abraham ducked his head in. How high was the boot? VAR Stuart Atwell is having a look. This could potentially be a Roma penalty.
Well, my gut instinct, first of all, is it's not a penalty, that Tammy Abraham put his head down a lot and Gadelia just literally kicked it away. You know, he may have been caught, he may not have been caught. I don't think, first of all, even if he was caught, it's quite the meal that he's making of it, but then he has to clear that, and he did clear that. And Tammy Abrahams put his head towards Cadelia's foot, so, you know, again, from a defensive point of view, there's nothing Cadelia could do there.
And Stuart Atwell, the VAR, has agreed with you after a 30-second inspection. And the Roma players are making the point that they thought that the boot was high. What's the rule of thumb in terms of a distance off the floor? I know that's there's no hard, fast rule, I guess, but Tammy had ducked his head in, as you alluded to there, and probably the contact was made when, I don't know, they were, 4.5 feet off the ground?
Well, for you and I, Jim, it would be different to what Tammy...
Certainly.
But what's he meant to do, Cadelia? It's to be fair, it's probably about chest high, something like that, but he's got to clear it. Tammy Abrahams put his head down towards Cordelia's boots. Cordelia can't then say, right, I'm not going to go for it now. It's not as if it's like shoulder high and chest high and he's almost trying an overhead kick in his own box. He's got to just clear it in the way that he has, and if Tammy Abraham gets caught, then he gets caught. That's what happens in football sometimes.
And that's how the English officials saw it. 12 minutes ago to half-time. Sevilla 0, Roma 0. Probably a good 3 or 4 minutes already, guaranteed to be added on at the end of this first half. Here on talksport, Sevilla, who've won this competition in 2014, 15, 16, all under Unai Emery, and 20 under Lopetegui. A couple of UEFA Cup wins as well. Roma have never won it. Runners-up back in 1991 when they were beaten by Inter. It's the best run that they've had prior to this season. Roma have the ball in Sevilla territory. Ibanez, clever, just a little flick, straight ball forward. Dybala, the back for Spinazzola. Spinazzola all left foot, trying to work the ball back inside to get himself into a position that he could get a more favourable angle. Sevilla clear it, but only temporarily. Pellegrini can bring it forward. He's lost out then to Fernando. And Fernando turns and just stabs his foot over the top of the ball to protect the space. That allowed him to turn the ball back to a teammate. Sevilla will get it upfield, but Rakitic claiming he was held off there by Cristante. Referee says no, he's playing for a big chance, and Roma score. Well, there was plenty of speculation that Dybala wasn't going to be fit enough to play any part in this game at all. Boy, has he played a part. Great play by Cristante to win the ball back in the midfield. Work down the inside left channel, and Dybala seized upon the opportunity to drive it in for his 17th goal of the season. It's Sevilla 0, Roma 1. Is Jose going to be doing it yet again?
Well, first of all, it was good strength there from Cristante, wasn't it? Rakitic feeling it was a foul. I don't think it was. The ball was played through to Dybala, and that is exactly why Jose Mourinho has started him. Really good pass, great first touch, and just as Barde's coming down at him, he gets the shot off, giving Bono no chance whatsoever. Really good first touch, which just takes it away from Barde. And in the end, Bono really sticking out a leg. You know, he should be diving with his hands there, but wonderful finish. Jose Mourinho must be absolutely delighted. Tactically so far, it has gone exactly how he wanted it to go. It's been tight. Roma have looked better going forward, the more dangerous, and they are the ones that's got the first goal.
Well, we talked about the importance of the first goal, the way the Roma was set up, with the fact that they'd started and gambled to a certain extent by putting Dybala in from the start, that if they were to be able to get themselves into a position where they had the advantage, they backed themselves to be able to hold on. When in 8 knockout ties in this competition this season, they've only conceded 3 goals, 5 clean sheets, and another clean sheet today, and they have won the Europa League. Anthony Taylor came across towards the touchline, and there was evidence of a yellow card. I don't know who it was shown to. I'll get that cleared up for you in a moment. And then it was another typical Jose moment as well, as everyone was celebrating and the bench emptied rapidly past him, and he just stood there, the epitome of calm, and almost gave them a dismissive, well, what were you expecting?
Exactly.
Kind of look, as there was euphoria all around, and it was, get yourselves back in here, sit down behind me, you lot. get on with it. Still a game to be played. 1-0 Roma.
He knows there's a long way to go, and he was almost putting his hands down as if like, calm down everybody, calm down. But also, yes, on our great knows. But I tell you what, he's got it spot on. You know, we wondered about Dybala. They have looked better going forward than Sevilla, even though Sevilla have had almost all the possession. When it comes to actually looking the most dangerous, I think Roma have him before that goal, but that's a really good defence splitting pass. Great first touch from Dybala, really good finish. Tactics spot on with 8 minutes to go. Plus, what would be fair, a lot of injury time at half-time, but so far, so good for Roma.
Yes, there are a lot of water to go under the bridge, but they lead by a goal to nil. Haven't conceded a goal since the quarterfinals of this competition. The yellow card, incidentally, was shown to Rafa Mir. He's on the Sevilla bench, the former Wolves and Forest striker. And so one of Sevilla's substitutes. Obviously, something that was said somewhere along the line. He took exception of the way that Roma celebrated, but he is in the book as well.
Might even been for the foul, or what Sevilla felt was a foul. Certainly Rakitic did. Cristante on him, but I think he just out-strengthened him. He said, look, okay, I'm going to take the ball off you. That did, and within a few seconds, it's amazing how quickly they do it. And Jose Mourinho teams are brilliant at it, aren't they? That transition, how quickly they can counter one defence splitting pass. Great first touch on the ball and then finishes on it.
So now a test for Jose Luis Mendilibar. More than 900 games as a coach over 14 clubs, but this is his first ever European campaign. Ball playing inside the penalty area from his Sevilla side. It took a lively bounce away from him. Serie was comfortably played by Rui Patricio. When he's been around the block, he knows everything there is to know about it, but he just hasn't got the big game experience in this kind of showpiece event on his managerial CV. Does that matter, or if you're 62 and you've got 900 games behind you, is it all second nature?
I think, look, he's an experienced manager. I mean, who would I rather have as the manager going into a European final? There's only one winner there. That's not to say that Mendilibar doesn't know his stuff and still tries to implement it, but even in terms of game management, I think you'd rather have Jose Mourinho. The problem with Sevilla at the moment is they're not touching the goal of Rui Patricio. That's almost the closest they've come, and it was a cross coming in from 40 yards on the byline, a header that was 15 yards out. He's not going to be beaten there. When those crosses have come in, Roma have defended so well. They've got numbers, they've got height, and we know that a Jose Mourinho side's so good once they get that first goal of seeing a game out. There will be a long way to go. There will be chances from Sevilla, but at the moment Mourinho will be absolutely delighted.
5 minutes to go to half-time. Roma have a free kick, which will be taken level with the right-hand edge of the penalty area and probably 20 yards adrift of the box. Pellegrini stands over it, but it might prove to be a left-footed in-swinger from Dybala from that right flank. He does leave it, the goal scorer. Pellegrini swinging it in very deep, but the whistle has gone before the ball got to Ibanez. There's a push, and it's a free kick which will be taken by Sevilla inside their own penalty area. You're with talksport, the Europa League final. Sevilla have won all 6 finals they played in this competition, but they trail in this one by a goal to nil.
I didn't see a push there. I saw a little bit of a challenge. I wouldn't have called it a push myself, and that ball to the far post. I think it's Sevilla who are struggling to defend those crosses coming in more so than Roma, so that's another way that Roma... And look, if they can get a second goal, I don't see Sevilla coming back from that. And then Jose Mourinho will go 2-0 up in the European final and end up losing it. But Sevilla just need to make sure they don't concede another. If they can try and get a goal back before half-time, great, but they've not touched the Roma defence, and certainly keeper Rui Patricio at all so far. Not had them in danger, not look as if they've been troubled. It's been the perfect performance from Roma.
Just that long-range header a few minutes ago, the only attempt that they have had. Roma, on the other hand, have only had 2, but one of them's gone in. And Sevilla nil, Roma 1. Something Ken Hachai was talking about in the build-up to the game was Sevilla's record in Seville and Sevilla's record outside Seville. They haven't won any of their last 13 European ties away from the Ramo Sanchez Pizjuan since a win at Rennes back in 2020, and that's it's a long record. That'll play on your mind. I know not all of these players will have featured in all of those games by any stretch of the imagination, but nevertheless it just shows that at home with the passionate home support behind them when they've got the majority of the vocal choir. They're going to be able to get the job done. In other circumstances, they find it a little bit tougher, and they are again here.
Yeah, but all of those players would have been involved in some of those games, so certainly they don't quite know how to win away from home, and obviously a neutral venue can certainly be seen as that. It's amazing, playing at home, the advantage you can get by that, and the feeling how different it is, be it playing in another stadium. And yeah, Kevin was absolutely right there. There's some big scalps, obviously the biggest being Manchester United, but some big teams that they've beaten, are difficult teams, and they've kind of got through the tie because of their home form, because of the home result. Now they have to find a way. They're not playing at home, they're 1-0 down against the Jose Mourinho side at the moment, not creating any chances.
On the front foot again here with the opportunity to deliver, and Campos throwing himself towards it on the edge of the 6-yard box, and has gone out of play for a corner. And Roma are furious. They thought it was a naughty challenge from Campos, too physical as he attacked the ball, and then he pushed the Roma defender. They feel it should be a free kick. Referee Anthony Taylor says there's nothing wrong with the challenge and has given the corner. The Sevilla's second. The Norwich Roma player Dybala wasn't even 3 yards away from the quadrant, let alone 10. And Anthony Taylor's got his eye on some pushing and shoving going on. The corner does come in. Oh, it should have been a free header, and it should have been an equaliser. It's Fernando leaning backwards, and Rakitic's delivery was superb, and Fernando just walked onto it and contrived to miss the target with a free header 6 yards out.
First of all, Anthony Taylor absolutely spot on. Sevilla looked most dangerous just in the last minute of this first half. Went down the left-hand side, cross came in. Campos has to go for it. Good defending, but he has to go for it. Bit of contact, definite corner. And I tell you what, Jose Mourinho would be disappointed with that. It was a great ball coming in from Rakitic. But Fernando's at the far post, inside the 6-yard box. It's only because he's leaning, really, that he's not able to get control of the header. But it was a free header inside the 6-yard box. That should be 1-1.
Well, he scored 20 goals in his career at a rate of about 1 every 28-29 games as Roma make their way forward at the other end. A chance to pull it back here for Pellegrini, taking a touch. Little nutmeg of Rakitic. Abraham gets a shot in, and the referee gives a free kick Sevilla's way inside their own box and shows a yellow card to Pellegrini.
Yeah, dive. Anthony Taylor's seen that. I mean, first of all, great play from Dybala down the right-hand side, using pace, then skill. He cuts the ball back to Pellegrini. Pellegrini just takes a touch inside. He's wanted to try and get a touch and go down. Anthony Taylor doesn't believe that the touch was enough, and he's close enough to see the situation. There's no way. He has dived. It's really poor from Pellegrini. He's touched the ball, almost nutmeg there, hasn't he, Rakitic? But Rakitic, if anything, is Pellegrini's gone into Rakitic, not the other way around. That is brilliant refereeing there in a really, it's an incredible atmosphere. And yet he's staying really calm. He's made 2 really good decisions in the space of 2 minutes. So fair play to him. Correct decision. Pellegrini, you're in the box, you're in the opposition box. What are you doing trying to win a penalty there? Never was, and deservedly got a yellow card.
Yeah, it was fantastic refereeing from one of the very best. 7 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. We're in them now. Abraham chasing down the left flank in his pink boots. Can't get clear possession. Matic then heads it down. Spinazzola will work his way back inside his own half. Having seen the replay, Pellegrini just initiated the contact. There was the nutmeg, and then his right foot almost followed the exact same trajectory of the ball, and he threw his right foot into the ankles of Rakitic, and then when the contact was made, he died.
It was even a split second after the contact was made. I don't know what he was thinking. It's almost like he felt the contact, and as I say, he took a split second and thought, I'm going to go down here, try and win a penalty. Brilliant decision.
A very, very good decision indeed. Savilla Roma 1. Dybala's goal on 35 minutes, the difference between the two teams. 6 minutes of stoppage time left to play in this first half on talksport. And the ball is played off of Campos, and now to play for a Roma throw in their left-back position. And this is the kind of situation in which you just love to have the experience and the defensive wherewithal of Nemanja Matic, a man who's been there, seen it and done it, 650-odd career appearances for club and country, and has played in the final in this competition as well. Lost it to Chelsea. in his spell of Benfica, between his two spells at Stamford Bridge. He knows what it takes, Nemanja Matic. Ball's out of play this time for a Sevilla throw, and Campos will dry the sweat off the palm of his right hand by just rubbing it on the turf, just to give himself the opportunity to get as much leverage on this throw as he can. Little hop, skip and a jump in towards the edge of the penalty area. Took an awkward bounce. It was dug clear by Cristante. Comes outside the penalty area for Gadelia for Sevilla. Now Campos, right footed ball swung inside the box. Smalling let it run and then gives the instruction to Celik to do exactly the same. He goes out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Roma right. There'll be no hurry to take it. They're 4 minutes from half-time and 4 minutes from a half-time lead.
Yeah, there's a lot of crosses coming in from Sevilla, but there's only been a couple of times where they've looked dangerous. And you just feel that, wonder if Mendilibar would try to change things at all. You know, as I say, they haven't really looked dangerous apart from that one opportunity. And that was Fernando with the free header. Really should have done better, hit the target, and it's a goal.
The man that has scored the goal is 170th in his career, it's 17th of the season. He scored more than 100 in his 7 years at Juve. And again the whistle goes, and this time the free kick is given Sevilla's way. Brian Hill was the player that was brought down. They wanted to take it as quickly as possible. The referee said that the ball was moving, but they soon got it spotted down and taken again, and Brian Hill's made a good run. The left-footed ball takes a deflection on its way inside the penalty area, but even yet is there to head it away. It comes back down outside the box for Navas. Navas working back behind square for Barney. Barney to Gadelia, the deepest line of Sevilla's outfield players. As they kick from left to right in there, white shirts and shorts. Jesus Navas has it again. Right-footed ball curved inside the box. Matic back on the edge of the area, didn't head that one away. And Rakitic will play it out to the left. Telles trying to get to the bar line. His ball in. Mancini with no-nonsense clearance, just whacking it, aiming for Rosette, probably only finding row P, but he got the job done. Out of play, Roma can reset. It's another Sevilla throw.
The positional sense of the defenders are just so good. Crosses are coming in now, left, right and centre, but still, everyone's in the right place. They're heading it out pretty easily or clearing it. Sevilla just aren't able to get a chance at all in goal.
It's Cristante with that latest clearance, but again it goes out of play for another throw. Sevilla on the left flank trying to work themselves into a position to get this ball in. Possession has remained pretty constant, high 50s for Sevilla. Decent ball in from Oliver Torres. First contact and then second contact from the Roma player. It was Matic who got it away on the edge of the box, and then Abraham whacks it upfield and just puts it straight into the Sevilla technical area and out of play. But Sevilla has got Roma on the ropes. This is the first really long spell of intense defending that Mourinho's manufactured is. Sevilla trying to get themselves into positions, but barring that Fernando header that Scott was talking about, they've hardly outside the goal created anything at all. Nothing of note. Pellegrini will clear it on the edge of his own penalty area and again find halfway. It's 1-0 run.
It's just classic Mourinho, it really is. You get the first goal and then actually kind of not necessarily sit in, but Sevilla are putting in so many crosses.
Oh, it's a clever little back heel flick. Campos has got Oliver Torres to Rakitic. Left-footed effort, hits the post. 25 yards out, he struck it so sweetly on his left foot. Keeper beaten, it came back off the post. Rui Patricio a little bit lucky, didn't then hit him on his way out and go back in behind him, but that's as close as Sevilla have come. And Rakitic throws his hands up, looks to the heavens as if to say, why is this not going to be our night?
And that's because they're not just sticking the ball in from any area, where Roma is saying, OK, do that. We've got three big centre-halves. We've got Matic in front of us as well. We're more than happy to do that. Jim, do you know what? You're absolutely spot on. It's a wonderful strike from Rakitic. Patricio's beaten, but it comes back off the post and could easily have hit his back or his backside or his legs and got back into the goal as well. And moments like these, Sevilla cannot be thinking this is not going to be our night. They need to be at it. They need to believe they can get back into this game. But that could easily have gone the other way right on half-time, which completely changes the complexion of the tie.
Yeah, had Rui Patricio read the shot a quarter of a second earlier, he still wouldn't have got to it, but the ball would have hit him and gone in. But he was just still coming down and the ball edged past him. That will give Savilla a little bit of heart. Pellegrini's got possession for Roma in his own left-back position, right down by his own corner flag, and it's gone out of play for a throw, which Campos is in a hurry to take. Only about 10 seconds of the 7 minutes of first-half stoppage time remain. Roma leading 1-0. Campos to launch this long throw inside the box, headed away by Smalling, and then by Mancini. Falls for Gudelia, tries to get his shot in. That's well blocked by the goal scorer, Dybala. And his is the touch that separates the sides as they come off for half-time. Jose's 100% record in European finals, as things stand, is the one that's being maintained. Sevilla have a 100% record in the final of this competition, but they're going to do very well to be able to maintain it against this Jose side. The bus just being reversed into the 6-yard box in the last few minutes of that first half. Expect a Mourinho defensive masterclass. They've got their noses in front. Can they protect the lead? Half-time in the final. It's Sevilla 0, Roma 1.
He's such a bad kid. Are we on? Are we back on? All right. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Is that one European medal more than everyone else on the team has got?
Well, he was brilliant. I actually hear a little birdie told me that he was a left back himself, so he should be in the left back union there and look after me.
Yeah, but the 4'2" that you got on your back is probably overstretching it. Of the Intertoto Cup. Double change here ahead of the start of the second half, made by Sevilla. No surprise that is the case. Suso and Lamela, the players that are coming on. Brian Hill and Oliver Torres both failed to really get into the game in the first half, and they are the two men who have been withdrawn. Referee Anthony Taylor's had a really good game, and he's about to get the second half off and running, with Roma leading courtesy of Paulo Dybala's goal 10 minutes before half-time. And it is Sevilla that get us underway in white shirts and shorts and black socks, and they're kicking from right to left in this second half. So the changes see Eric Lamela coming on, a man who prior to his Tottenham days had a couple of years at Roma, 67 games and 20 odd goals for the club. So he's on, and the one-time Liverpool man Suso is on as well, and no surprise that Mendilibar has mixed it up and made that double change.
He had to. We talked about it. It's only Campos who's really doing anything effectively going forward, and Emre Nasiri had sort of no options at all, no service, so not surprised to see those two coming off at all.
Now here's Jesus Navas back for Suso. First contribution from him around the edge of the penalty area is to pick up possession and then turn, get it onto his left foot. And the shot deflects away, hits Abraham and goes out of play for what has been given as a Roma throw over on the far touchline. Navas' eyes are out on stalks and imploring the referee to change his mind. He won't. We're a minute and a half into the second half. He with talksport. It's Sevilla 0, Roma 1. Here's the former Chelsea, West Ham and Benfica defender Scott Minto.
Yeah, look, I think Sevilla were pretty good the last 5 or 10 minutes, and I think it's Jose Mourinho who will be quite happy with the half-time, because they were in total control up until about the 35-minute mark, and then those chances came. Fernando, and he actually just the chance that led to the corner as well. Good defending from Roma, and then the Fernando header, the Rakitic hitting the post. So Sevilla definitely were coming back into it, and as I say, I think Mourinho will be happy just to calm things down. He'll be hoping that Sevilla have lost the rhythm and the tempo.
And Sevilla have lost possession here. Turnover very cheaply. Dybala picking it up, and with the ability to run at the Sevilla back line. But they did have 7 behind the ball. Dybala pops it off to the feet of Cristante. Cristante now to Mancini, and he will make his way through. But Suso just stuck his foot in. Suso made 21 appearances for Liverpool early in his career, and did score a significant goal against Manchester United in the semi-finals of this competition in 2020. It's just been a little bit too hot for Mancini to handle there. Mancini has been booked, a 14th yellow card of the season, and Mancini is showing Anthony Taylor, the referee, the hard empirical evidence of a ripped shirt, but the referee's not having it, and the free kick has been given Sevilla's way, and the yellow card's gone to Mancini.
Lamela did pull his shirt right at the very end, but it was Mancini who was all over him. Again, when you're in control, you don't really, especially from a defensive point of view, you don't want to have silly yellow cards. Because you're just one tackle away now from getting sent off. So he didn't need to do it. It's in the middle of the park, and now he's got to be careful with the timing of his tackles.
Cristante is being spoken to by referee Anthony Taylor, and Nemanja Matic there as well. I think there's a problem with the shirt. They want a replacement shirt after the one that was ripped. Mancini has disposed of the wrecked one. Coming to eBay near you very soon, and he's got a replacement one. He's okay, and we can get back underway. So the opening 4 minutes of the second half have been pretty stop-start, and that was in keeping with how the first 45 minutes went. Hence the need for 7 additional minutes at the end of the first half.
Well, it's just how Jose Mourinho will want it. He'll want 45 minutes now of stop-start, won't he? Quick question, Mancini, lots of tattoos. You got as many as him?
I'm 2 or 3 behind him. Just 2 or 3. The ball is
about 22 now.
over on the left. And it will be played down towards the corner flag. An opportunity for Telles to deliver. That's not the worst ball. It comes back down after a slight bounce. An opportunity for the Roma defence to clear it. Campos was in there attacking it. And Sevilla players thought that they saw an arm. And the referee has just said, please wait before you restart play with a throw, just to see if there was a handball in there. The VAR steward was having a look. Didn't take him too long to have an inspection, and we're back underway. I don't think the Sevilla players really were anticipating that they were going to get the call there. Throw taken by Navas to Fernando and back again. And now it's played to Gudelia. And Gudelia gets around the first challenge out of Dybala, then works into his left-hand side for Alex Telles. Left-footed ball in from him, hits the nearest Roma player. And Nasiri is in a position. Campos went for the dramatic overhead kick on the edge of the penalty area and shanked it way wide. And they just need a bit more inspiration in the final third. It's 1-0 to Roma.
Yeah, and just 2 examples there. One where they're able to get almost close to the byline, and even though they were quite far out, because the ball was coming in, it's coming in from a different angle, which is more difficult to defend. And then literally 30-40 seconds later, Alex Telles puts in he's the same guy, but puts in a ball that 40 yards away from the goal line is easily defended. It really is. So there's nothing wrong with crossing the ball, but you need to get a little bit closer to the byline, because at the moment when you're facing it and you're 40 yards out from a defensive point of view, you take that all day long, and that's what the Roma defence are doing.
Barde at the back for Sevilla, working it out towards the right for Navas, and then getting it immediately played back to him. He finds his yellow-clad goalkeeper Bono. Fall from him to Gudelia. Down towards Alex Telles, coming in off the left flank. He's put under pressure by Zeki Celik. It's a misdirected ball back inside his own penalty area. Bono didn't look particularly comfortable with the ball on his wrong side there, but he was able to deal with it, and Fernando can bring it forward through the midfield and find Rakitic, and all of a sudden Sevilla are making good progress upfield towards the edge of the penalty area. They trail 1-0. Ball played out towards Lamela. Coming onto it inside the area was Alex Telles, and he really screwed it towards the top left-hand corner. Went over the bar, but it was better, more purposeful, and Dilibar applauding on the edge of the technical area, liking what he saw, but it's still a goal kick.
Absolutely, much better. He should be hitting the target, but they're not just putting the ball in. You're getting runs, you're making little 10-yard passes, you're starting to open Roma up. That's what they need to do. They need to mix it up. All very well doing the crosses, that's fine. If you can get it from the byline, even better. But don't just do that every time. Play little passes like that. That's a really good opportunity for Alex Telles, and will give Sevilla a lot of confidence.
Well, they need to show some character here, Sevilla, and that was one of the accusations that Lopetegui made when he left of the Sevilla team, that they didn't have. They sold Diego Carlos to Aston Villa and Jules Koundé to Barcelona, and Lopetegui said if you rip out a lung and a heart, you have to regenerate. All we got was a glass jaw. So he obviously felt that they lacked character, but will they be able to ram those words down their old manager's throat? There's into the second half, and Roma leads Sevilla by a goal to nil.
Got visuals now. Is he a doctor?
That was good, wasn't it? Should be a poet.
Know exactly what he meant, yeah. And yeah, listen, again, Kevin Hatchard talked about how good Sevilla can be at home, but not good away from home. They're starting to show a little bit more character now, 10 minutes before half-time, and stepping it up now in the second half.
And they've got a free kick. Given away by Spinazzola. Towards the left-hand touchline. Campos has certainly been the liveliest of the Sevilla forwards. He's been the one that's caused most difficulty for the Giallorossi, and that was a good quick turn, too quick for Spinazzola, who caught him just above the ankle. And so another free kick. Now, being able to defend set pieces, particularly from balls played in from wide positions, is one of the long suits for Roma. We've got Abraham back, and Mancini, Smalling, Cristante, all way over 6 foot, even yet there as well. In comes the free kick, first contact from a Roma player. That was no surprise, and then Dybala hairs after the loose ball and clatters it 60 yards upfield, where Bono then will race out of his penalty area and play it forward, and Sevilla will try and construct an attack from the back. Possession now in the 60s as far as Mendilibar's men are concerned, but Europa still trail by a goal to nil. Just the one shot on target from them so far. They're in possession with Jesus Navas on the right-hand side of the area. Taking on Spinazzola, flicked inside the area and off En-Nesyri. Sevilla back on level terms. One potent ball in from the right flank. Campos making a near post run. En-Nesyri was in there as well. Might have been Chris Smalling that got the last touch, but Sevilla are back on level terms in the final. No clean sheet for Mourinho's man, and it's one apiece.
Much better from Sevilla. Again, they've been mixing it up, haven't they? Not just putting the crosses in, they've been coming inside as well, but this time they were out wide. And because he's only 12, 11 yards out from the byline, he's able to whip a great ball and just get half a yard. It's so much more difficult to defend against than what they were doing in the first half, and it comes off Mancini, doesn't it? It's Mancini's own goal, but again, that's what I've been trying to say about in the first half. 40 yards out, cross the ball in. As a defender, you can see ball and man the whole time. It's easily done. Because they're 12, 10 yards away from the byline, he just gets half a yard, Navas, whips it in. And from a defending point of view, you're now facing your own goal with someone in behind you. He's not able to deal with that situation. He's put the ball in the back of his net. Really good play from Sevilla.
Well, he had to play it because En-Nesyri was coming in behind him, but the ball...
It's because of the angle, Jim. The angle of where the ball's coming in. It's not from 20, 30, 40 yards out. It's 12, 10 yards out. It's so much more difficult to defend against.
So Sevilla 1, Roma 1. And it's a Mancini own goal 10 minutes into the second half. They have been much improved since half-time, and they've been rewarded for that. Ball is out of play for a Roma throw inside their own half. They've got it all to do. And time will be running off Dybala's clock, as we mentioned earlier. They've got nearly an hour out of him now. We're not sure exactly how fit he really is. Here's Cristante. I wonder when Mourinho will be turning towards his bench and deciding that he has to try and reshuffle the pack as well. So they did that at half-time, making a double change. Suso and Lamela, the players that came on. And they've got the equalising goal 10 minutes after the restart. 1-1 the score.
Well, look, the Serie A season hasn't finished, but I don't think Mourinho will be worried about Dybala, being injured. I think he'll want him to play as long as he possibly can. He will start to tire, and of course he doesn't want him injured, but this is the game. This is now the defining game of the season, so you want to try and keep your best players on for as long as possible. I tell you what, we have a game on now.
They've got Spezia at home at the weekend, Roma. They could finish 5th or 6th in Serie A, which would be a Europa League place, or 7th, which would be a Conference League place. Of course, they could be in the Champions League by the end of the night if they win this. As far as Sevilla are concerned, they're 11th at the moment. They could finish as high as 7th, but they're not guaranteed any form of European football as yet for next season. Similarly, of course, they could be in the Champions League if they win this. They might get in the Conference League through their league position. That's the best they can hope for in qualifying in terms of getting into the top 7 in La Liga. They can only finish 7th in their final game of the season as away to Real Sociedad. It's all about winning this.
Yeah, it's all on tonight, Jim. It's all on tonight for both teams. They're going to go hell for leather here.
And we've got a free kick again. And Rakitic will take it for Sevilla. 1-1 the score. Right-footed inside the penalty area, easily headed clear. Comes back out for Navas near the centre circle. Right-footed ball forward from him. Rakitic with a clever little cushion header. Volley back across the edge of the 6-yard box by Lamela, but clear. Sevilla will be able to pick it up again in the midfield. And this good play by Sousa. That's some nice moments. Now Delia down towards Alex Telles on the Sevilla left. They have it on halfway. They go back to the goalkeeper, but they've got all the ball now.
The problem you've got, Jim, is when you're 1-0 up and you're kind of just sitting back and trying to soak up the pressure, that's all very well if it stays at 1-0. If it then goes to 1-1, it's very difficult to suddenly go back on the front foot then. You know, it's not like a tap. You can't just turn it on and off and go for it. And Sevilla now, psychologically, mentally, tactically, physically, they've got the upper hand, they've got the momentum. So it's important for Roma now to try and get hold of the ball themselves and just keep it a little bit, take the sting out of the situation, because at the moment, if there is going to be another goal, it's going to come from Sevilla.
Well, in the second half, 62% of the possession for Sevilla. They've had all 3 attempts, none on target. Of course, the goal was an own goal, which doesn't count as an attempt, but Roma have just had nothing. But they haven't had a shot on or off target in the 25 minutes since Dybala scored. I'm more than happy just to sit back and try and soak things up, but as Scott was saying, they've got to try and be a little bit more progressive themselves now. Zeki Celik with a throw, which went over Tammy Abraham's head, headed away by Gudelia, brought down around the edge of the penalty area by Pellegrini, and then Matic has gone down and got caught, and the referee doing everything he can to stop any shenanigans off the ball, just tells Fernando to behave himself. The free kick has been given Rome as well.
Yeah, they wanted a yellow card, that's what they want. It's Matic who's gone down and he's trodden his foot, which can be painful, but not a yellow card for me. A foul, yes, not a yellow card. I think Anthony Taylor's having a blinder tonight.
Campos was the player that on the stretch just got there a little bit late, put his foot down on the top of Matic's foot.
And Matic rolled around a few times. There were a couple of Roma players who went up to the referee trying to sort of intimidate a little bit and make it should be a yellow card, and straight away he's like nothing.
So he's shown 4 so far, 1 to a substitute off the field of play, and 3 to Roma players. Matic, Pellegrini, Mancini and Rafa Mir of Sevilla. So this free kick is in a central position. It's 15 outside the penalty area. The wall actually looks pretty generous 10 yards back. Bono making sure that they're exactly where he wants them. He's only got 3 in that wall. Everybody else is back, strung out across the edge of the box. It's a right-footed shot straight into the trio of Sevilla players. So by no means a good attempt from Pellegrini. Now it comes back in with a bit more quality. Smalling at the far post, heading it down. It bounced inside the 6-yard box and into the hands of Bono rather than onto the head of a teammate.
Yeah, first of all, Pellegrini was never going to score from there. Bang in front of the goal, but 35 yards out. Would have taken some strike, and that's why Bono only said, I only want 3. Just let me see the ball and I'll be able to save it. And because it's straight, it's difficult to put a cross in. You know, you're chipping it in straight there. Again, it's easier to defend. But this morning he should have done better with his header at the far post. It's a really good ball and he was free. He just needed proper connection. Again, get it across the goal, and when defenders are facing their own goal and the ball comes in quickly, as we've just seen with the Mancini own goal, it's so difficult to defend against, and he put his arms up in the air as if he knew he had a missed opportunity there.
We're listening to the Europa League live on talksport with Till by NatWest, the car payment partner that works hard for your business. Those are the thoughts of Scott Minto. 1-1, the scoreline between Sevilla and Roma. Dybala scoring on 35. Mancini putting through his own net, deflecting a cross in. 10 minutes into this second half. We played another 7 minutes since Sevilla found their equalising goal. They've got a good record against Italian opposition. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. The exception being the first leg of their semi-final with Juventus. They drew that, but only because they conceded an equaliser in added time. They only played Roma once before. They've beaten them. That was in the Europa League 3 years ago when Enesiri was on target then in the round of 16 tie back in the COVID days, and was played in Duisburg in Germany. behind closed doors in 2020. This one, 1-1, and taking place in Budapest. Extra time, penalties on the agenda if necessary tonight. Rakitic trying to get involved in the midfield. The referee says throw, which will be taken by Celik on the Roma right. 1-1.
Fair play to Savilla as well. You talked about what Lopetegui had said about glass jaw. Rather than the heart, and they're 1-0 down in the European final that Jose Mourinho never loses. Psychologically that could have hit them, and they bounced back, and they really have. First half, last 10 minutes had a couple of good chances. Second half they've done really well. I thought this game could go all the way. We'll have to wait and see whether it will, but again, questions are asked at Sevilla and they've come back and answered them so far.
Such a good record in this competition. They've only lost 3 of the last 39 knockout ties that they played in the Europa League. The last one they lost in terms of being eliminated was against West Ham in the round of 16 last year. West Ham back in European action, of course, next Wednesday night. This time next week, the Conference League final takes place in Prague. It is live, of course, on talksport. West Ham Fiorentina, as the Hammers embark on their first European final for 47 years. And Sunday to face Dean Ashton for the call, and Adrian Durham will be in the chair for that next Wednesday on talksport. Here's Eric Lamela, and he's just been blocked off in the midfield. Now Celik will try and get his way past Rakitic, who just dangled out a leg then. He knew the danger of a numerical advantage for Roma pushing forward. So it was a professional foul from Rakitic. And if you've got game, you recognise game. And I think Jose Mourinho knew exactly what had happened then.
Absolutely, Mourinho's livid, and rightly so. This time Anthony Taylor's got it wrong. Foul, yes. Yellow card, yes. Should have been given. Rakitic was beaten completely, just dangled a leg.
And instead, I think Cristante's got a yellow card for dissent.
For complaining. And that's the frustrating thing from a footballer's point of view. Anthony Taylor's had a really, really good game so far, but that's a wrong decision. It's a bad decision, and when you've just conceded the goal and you're trying to wrestle back that kind of authority in a European final, and a decision like that is made, that there is a yellow card. It can be very frustrating, and I just sometimes think, look, we don't know what he said, but I sometimes think the referee has to understand that if he's not quite sure 50-50 whether there's a yellow card or not, and it was a yellow card, he's just kicked him, wasn't he? There's a definite yellow card there. Mourinho livid, Cristante clearly so. Just let the player just let off a bit of steam.
Yeah, Zeki Celik saw him and done it, and he properly bought it, and then knowing that his body was going the wrong way and he was going to be beaten the other side, he just stuck out a right foot to make sure that he didn't carry on. Rakitic did actually get a yellow card as well, but Cristante, the first player in the book. We're almost midway through this second half at normal time. It's 1-1. So 6 in the book now. Free kick taken, swung high inside the penalty area, heads go up, and flicked by Abraham Bono. It just fell behind him, and then it's shanked wide from about 6 yards out by Ibanez, who can't believe he's not hit the target. Bono, just making himself big, was able to kind of smother the ball from Abraham's header. I think Rakitic probably played everybody onside as the ball initially came in. Smalling tried to poke it on initially. Abraham was in there as well, and somehow Bono got enough of the ball just down by his right hand to be able to flick it away, but Ibanez really should have done better.
My goodness, I don't know if it's Keystone Cops or under-10s football that, but they're almost 20 players in the box there. The ball's bouncing around. First started off from Ibanez. Tammy Abraham has a chance. It comes back out to Ibanez, and he takes the swipe at it without actually trying to get balance himself. It comes off the side of his foot, and it's a really good opportunity for Roma there.
Well, the answer to the question about Dybala is 67 minutes, because he's coming off now, and Gini Wijnaldum is going to be coming on to replace him. Wijnaldum, who played 2 Champions League finals, runner-up in 2018 and winner in 2019. On loan from PSG, where potentially could be linking up with Jose again next season. He played more than 270 games in English football, with 1 year at Newcastle and then a few at Liverpool. Comes on for The second half of the second half, and then maybe extra time as well. 1 out and 4 Dybala, but it's a defensive-minded change because he'll play obviously that little bit deeper than the man he's replaced.
Yes, he will. You know, we were wondering how long it'd take, and Jose Mourinho obviously would have been delighted for him to come off still 1 goal up. But yeah, he can only last so long. There's no point in him trying to, picking up an injury, but just wonder whether he tried to eke out as much as possible. And I must give an apology, of course, to Anthony Taylor, because he did brandish that yellow card in the end for Rakitic. So he's carrying on, continuing to have a very good game.
Yeah, absolutely. 68 on the clock, it's 1-1. Ball's with Manny Gadella. Yeah. Heart of the Sevilla back line. The Serbian international made his name in Dutch football before moving to Spain. Now Campos, who's done well, out towards the dead ball line. Navas wrapping his foot around it, kept it in, he did well. Roma can get it away. Only as far as Barde. Most of the possession is with Mendilibar's man, Fernando. Veteran in the midfield, able to work it out towards the right flank. Ball whipped in with pace towards the corner of the 6-yard box. Flying header went way over the bar from Campos, and out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Roma. Just over 20 minutes to go of the 90.
Yeah, look much more dangerous now, don't they, when they are out wide, and that's because they're able to get deeper. Or you've got a left footer on the right hand side who can whip it in with pace, and therefore you just need that little bit of a touch. Sevilla weren't able to quite do it there, but just so much more differently in the second half than they were in the first, because they get that little bit deeper from when those crosses are coming in.
One piece here on talksport. Saturday, our next live football is the FA Cup final. Manchester City going for the domestic double to keep the treble hopes alive. They take on Manchester United, who are looking for the cup double. It kicks off at 3, and you can hear it. Stuart Pearce and Mickey Gray alongside me Saturday from 3 o'clock live for Wembley here on talksport. 20 minutes to go. The ball is just laid back through the midfield. Roma on the front foot again. Abraham off balance, just to try to cushion the ball into the feet of Wijnaldum. Couldn't manage that. Sevilla turning possession over, able to bring it forward here with Eric Lamela. Lamela turning and finding himself in 3 yards of space in the midfield, laying it off for Rakitic to Suso. Suso, like Lamela, on as a half-time sub. Played out towards Jesus Navas. Navas flicking the ball out towards the right-hand side. Suso to Navas again. Both defending diligently with tight regimented shape. But they're being pushed deeper and deeper as the half goes on. Rakitic, the wonderful range of passing, fires it out towards the Sevilla right-hand side. It's control on the chest of Campos. Back for Suso. Suso towards Navas. Wraps his right foot around it again. Heads go up for it. Half cleared. Falls out the edge of the area, and Alex Telles rifles a left-footed effort towards goal. It hits Celik. Rises over the bar after the deflection, and it's another Sevilla corner.
Yeah, much better again, because it was really deep, the cross that came in. Navas was able to whip the ball in. Suddenly Roma defenders not quite sure who's coming in from the side. You're not able to see both the ball and the man. This is really good play from Sevilla now.
And Suso will take the corner. It's a left-footed in-swinging delivery towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It was easily cleared. Wijnaldum will chase after it, but Navas is going to get there first. It's a really good brisk ball from him down the line, and then a free kick is given after a foul by Spinazzola, who's just determined to stop another ball coming inside the penalty area. He took matters into his own hands.
And Suso's made a really big difference, hasn't he, coming on in the second half? He's playing on the right, coming inside on his left. Spinazzola is not quite sure whether to get tight to him or not. This time he's fouled him, but again, when you've got that kind of left-sided player on the right, he's quite happy to come inside and whip the ball in the way that he's done so far. Looks very dangerous and, again, difficult to defend against.
Well, they've had a fair few of these set pieces from wide positions, and the other one has caused problems. It's Suso to fire this one in, left-footed. It's a deeper one, and they've got a fair few over at the far post, but in an offside position. Eric Lamela trying to tease it back outside the penalty area, but it might have been Fernando who was just a little bit too far forward. It's a free kick either way, which Roma will take inside their box. In fact, seeing the replays of Campos, it was offside and just hit his shoulder and bounced back down. So 1-1 it remains between Sevilla and Roma. Roma, who've only won one major European trophy in their history. The Europa Conference League last season where they beat Feyenoord. One goal enough for them then, not tonight. We've seen the lead disappear in this second half. Sevilla pumping another long ball forward, which is easily claimed by Bono at the back. Abraham's chased tirelessly. You knew you were going to get that out of him, but he would have hoped for a little bit more service than he's had.
He's not been given any decent service at all, and he's, when he's trying to drop off, he's getting further and further away from goal. It was just a long ball in the channel there, and he's not able to get on the end of that. There needs to be better quality from Roma.
I think his race might be run, actually. Tammy might be coming off in a moment because they're getting Belotti ready, and another Sevilla attack is broken up a little bit cynically. It's Cristante with the challenge. Is it Cristante with the challenge? No, maybe not. He walks away. He's on a yellow card. Zeki Chap, who has been booked for that latest foul. So he's the fifth Roman player to have his name taken. He's just pulling Lamela back as the ball had been played out towards the left-hand touchline. It was cynical. The earlier indiscretion, the one that's been punished by the referee, and Celik's in the book. And they do make the change. Abraham off and Belotti on.
Shame for Tammy. He's worked hard. The bits he's done. I suppose this really sums up his season, doesn't it? Can look neat and tidy at times, but nowhere near the goal really to try and trouble him. Not scored enough this season, not looked dangerous enough tonight.
9 he scored in 53 games now. The ball is played out towards the right. Mind you, that's more prolific than Belotti, in which more in a moment. Sevilla had taken the free kick, forced to go back towards Navas. And Navas picking it up on halfway, plays it back out towards the Sevilla right again. And Suso, as Scott was saying, has really made hay. Good little 1-2. Campos wriggling away, still the ball at his feet, brought down, and that is a penalty to Sevilla. Roma players surround the referee, and of course the incident will be checked. But Anthony Taylor was convinced that Campos was fouled, and it's a penalty to Sevilla. Just got in, goal-sided Ibanez, who had a little flick. How much of the ball did he play? They're also now checking the attacking phase of play, whether there was a foul in the build-up to Campos getting the ball inside the box. And still, the penalty is under review. Anthony Taylor, asked by VAR steward Atwell to come over to the referee review area, and he will have a look at the incident himself. And this actually might be overturned.
Yeah, I think VAR are thinking, and probably rightly so, that Ibanez gets a touch of the ball first before he gets Campos. I mean, the question is, does he get enough of a touch of the ball but still bring down? And it's just coming out now, and there's no penalty.
Yeah, it's been overruled.
For me, Jim, he does just get the touch first, and from a defensive point of view, I would always say, well, look, I got the ball, but he did get the man. Did he get enough of the ball that meant it would have gone away, and did he still bring down Campos? And he did, but I think it's probably the right decision. It's a difficult one. I could actually argue the other way to say, yes, he got a slight touch, but he still brings down Campos, and Campos could have carried on. It's a really contentious decision, but I just think that initial slight touch, despite him getting a touch of Campos, who clearly made the most of going down, is probably the right decision in the end. It's a difficult one, isn't it? And Anthony Taylor, I think, again, has got it spot on with VAR, you have to say.
That's why VAR is there. I mean, Mourinho was absolutely adamant that there'd been a touch on the ball, that Campos should have a yellow card for diving. He did go down theatrically. How much contact there was, of course, just because there's contact doesn't mean it is a penalty.
Absolutely.
And he did get to the ball first. Not much, but seeing the slow motion replay, you could see that the flight of the ball as it rolled, it just deviated very slightly, and it pushed it just enough towards Chris Smalling for the referee, I think, or the VAR to have a look at it and say, well, if he'd stayed on his feet, he wouldn't have got to that. So he had the motivation to go to ground, which was clearly part of it, and he did go to ground very easily. I think the balance of everything, and it's easy for us to see it 4 times, and Anthony Taylor's seen it once. The balance of everything, I think he's got it right. No penalty.
I think so too, and again, you have to give the VAR a lot of credit between the two of them. They've worked it out, and I don't think it would have sufficed or deserved a penalty in a European final, something like that, where they can clearly claim Roma. They did get a touch of the ball, Ibanez. So I think the decision is a difficult one. It really is. You could argue both ways, but I think it was the right decision.
Cristante letting the ball bounce in the midfield. Little 1-2, helped on by Wijnaldum. Now towards the Roma left flank. It's 1-1 with 12 minutes of normal time remaining here on talksport. Mancini has never been a player sent off in a Europa League final. If this goes to extra time, you wonder whether we will still be able to say that tomorrow morning. The ball is cleared down the left flank by Savilla. A bit of wrestling going on Mancini and Lamela, and then Mancini's on a yellow card, slightly ill-advised, just pushed his hand down to stop Lamela getting up quickly. There's a shake of the head as Mancini very quickly got his wits back. There will be a free kick to Roma, which they will take in their right back position. 1-1 with 11 minutes to go. We were talking incidentally when Tammy Abraham came off about Belotti. Belotti, signed from Torino in the summer, he's played 30 league games for his new club this season. He's a striker, hasn't scored yet, which makes Tammy's record of 9 of 53 look a little bit better.
Prolific.
Belotti has come off the bench slightly more than he started in all competitions and has got 4 goals all told. 3 of them in the Europa League, but the last of those in February. He's 17 without a goal in all competitions coming into this. Can he make himself a hero? Savilla looking the more likely at the moment. Another ball worked in from that right-hand side, but that's free drip for Chris Smalling to be able to clear. Now Navas has it. It's a couple of yards into the right-hand touchline. That was an awkward one from Smalling. Did get it outside the penalty area. Came off his thigh. Then there's a collision on the edge of the penalty area, and Anthony Taylor again waves the Sevilla player up. Barde will clear out towards the far touchline for a Roma throw, and we're into the final 10 minutes of normal time. And talksport is the Europa League final. It's Sevilla 1, Roma 1. There's the former Chelsea defender Scott Minter.
Well, I'm just thinking of sort of man of the match, but I think we've got a long way to go yet. But can you give it to a referee? I think Anthony Taylor's been absolutely superb. I really do. No, you can't, I'm sure, but I just think he's been great so far. And again, supported by VAR. I think that was the right decision in the end. But pretty much every decision he's got spot on, and he's done it in a really kind of a way with authority, but not a way with arrogance as well, which is exactly what you want from a playing point of view.
Yes, he's been like an English Kalina, I suppose, in the approach. I mean, it has been a no-nonsense approach from him. But he's had to be with what's at stake and everything that's going on, because there are a fair few trying it on. There's another free kick that's been given now to Roma, and they're having another look at a potential penalty check. This for a handball inside the Roma penalty area a handball inside the Sevilla penalty area from the previous phase of play as a Matic cross came in. Fernando, I think, was trying to move his arm back behind his body when the contact was made. Didn't look like an unnatural position even in the European game. The check was soon over, but it is a free kick to Roma about 10 yards outside the penalty area.
Well, again, another really good decision from VAR there, and Anthony Taylor, who straight away said, I don't believe it's a penalty. Hit his arm, but his arm was down by his side. Jose Mourinho, as you can imagine, Jim, was jumping off the bench and arguing that point. But what we have got is, it's coming over now, isn't he, and given a yellow card. But what we have got is a really good game on our hands. Not one with lots of chances and the keeper's really diving around, but one with real intensity. And everyone knows now you're getting towards the 82nd minute, 83rd minute. I tell you what, the next goal is the winner.
Well, just getting another view of it. Fernando just trying to whip his left arm in behind his body. Matic was right, the ball hit the arm, but it wasn't in an unnatural position. A yellow card was brandished by the referee to a member of Jose's coaching staff. So yet another yellow. That's the 8th, I think. It won't be the last. 8 minutes to go.
If you need any extra fingers, I'll just stick it.
Well, I'm almost on my toes, I must admit. 1-1 the score. Sevilla the better team in the second half. But what will Roma be able to do from this set piece? It's a straight ball clip for Belotti, just wide. Well, it was a clever one over the top. He's claiming that he was pulled back as he tried to get a shot in. It was just flicked over the wall, and Belotti made the run, shanked it wide of the near post. Clever. Everything but the finish.
I don't know what he's claiming for, but what he has got is fantastic movement. He thinks Bono's got a touch, and he has got a touch, actually. And Belotti's absolutely right. First of all, it was a great little dink in behind the wall. Not an easy one to play, but the movement of Belotti was superb. Should have been a corner.
It was only the faintest of touches. I don't think that it did anything to put the ball wide of the post. If it had been on target, it should have been a corner. It is now a free kick. And as the finish line gets closer, the tempers get increasingly frayed. 6 minutes of normal time to go. Free kick to Roma inside their own half.
What you want in the European final, isn't it? That tension. Both sides really going at it now. Not been able to really break the defences down in the last 10-15 minutes, but playing with such passion and intensity.
There's a real edge to it. There's Rakitic, has hit the referee with that. It's going to be a drop ball. Gudelia trying to take a free kick quickly, but the referee's got to do it by the letter of the law. Is that actually a hand of apology by Rakitic? There's nothing the referee could do to get out of the way, but it's like a misplaced pass. Drops the ball now at the field of Gudelia, and Savilla are going to be able to bring it forward. We're in the 85th minute here on talksport. It's Sevilla 1, Roma 1. Dybala fit enough to start, scored 10 minutes before half-time. Roma's advantage lasted till 10 minutes after half-time when a right-wing cross was turned into his own net by Gianluca Mancini. Gudelia bringing the ball forward here for Sevilla. Goes back to the edge of the D. Bono will play it forward. Now Barde out towards Jesus Navas, edging the ball forward towards halfway. He's just worked it 30 yards into Roma territory. Given away though a tire clearance from Ibanez, and could be a costly error from him. Suso is able to pick up possession. He's gone for goal, and that's deflected away by the diving Ibanez and out of play for a corner. It didn't look as though it was a potent shot at all, but I suppose in that position you've only got a split second to think about it. It was 35 yards out, it was going well wide, but they've got a corner out of it.
Yeah, it's going to take some strike from there, and as you say, it's going wide, but Suso has done fantastically well since he's come on. Him and Lamela have really made a difference for Sevilla in the second half.
3 corners without reply in the second half, but Rakitic taking the latest of them and Smalling heads it away. Now that's will mop up. Plays it back for Alex Telles. Telles with a little bit too much on the ball out towards the far touchline. Rakitic timed his jump well, headed it back. Navas firing inside the area. En-Nesyri, who's hardly had a kick, but you wonder whether he's still got a big moment in him. Could score on the previous occasion that these two sides have ever met in the European competition. Navas working down the right-hand side of the penalty area again. The latest cross from Campos is blocked. It goes out of play for a throw. 3.5 minutes of normal time to go. There'll be a fair few to be added on again. Campos driving in another cross. That one hits Ibanez and goes out of play for another throw. All this action in front of the Sevilla fans. Just a sea of white at the left-hand end of the ground as we're looking at it. Arch to the back, long throw inside the penalty area is knocked away. The heads go up for it, brought down by Belotti, but he couldn't get it to stick. Sevilla win it back and work it back inside their own half. Telles with a long ball forward, but not long enough to cause any problems. His second one is too long as he punted it straight over the head of Campos and out of play for a throw that will be taken over on the Roma left-hand side. 3 minutes of normal time remaining. Maybe another 6 to be played by way of stoppage time. And then almost certainly you feel another 30 coming in terms of extra time after that. It's 1-1.
Yeah, it's been a really good response from Sevilla in the second half after them just lumping balls in. They've mixed it up a little bit. They've got crosses from further towards the byline. They've looked a lot more dangerous. The substitutions have made a big impact. Exactly what you want from the manager. So credit to him for doing it, and credit to the players and making the difference as well. And I can't think of Roma getting into the final third and really troubling the Sevilla defence. They're very much on the back foot in the second half.
They just had that one scramble, even yes, firing wide. But Sevilla, for all the improvements that they've made since half-time, they've still only had one shot on goal in the game. The crowd just shaving the 61,500 at the Puskás Arena in Budapest. As a long ball is worked forward by the Roma back line. Gudelia took his eye off it as he tried to control it, then sent it back past Belotti to his goalkeeper, and they'll play out for the back with 90 seconds and 90 minutes left.
You know what, Jim, stats are great and they can tell you certain things, but the feel of this game is that Sevilla are on top. So one goal, one shot on target, and that's the goal. Absolutely, that's not good enough. You want to be troubling the Roma defence a lot more, but the feel of this game is that Roma 1-0 down against Jose Mourinho, we know how good he is in a European final. They've come back, they've shown character, and they're very much on top at the moment.
There's Jesus Navas bringing the ball forward up the Sevilla right-hand side, and the sports bar will follow the conclusion of this game. Campos trying to get inside the penalty area. It's an awkward one for Spinazzola, who actually just got his bearings right in the nick of time, and he flicked it back off of Campos, and now to play for a goal kick, and will be just about in stoppage time by the time it's taken.
Look at Spinazzola, a player I really like, and he was superb in the Euros, wasn't he, for Italy. Obviously had a horrible injury, but he's very good, great going forward. Hardly seen him, especially in the second half. Been very much on the back foot. It's been like a back five at times, and again that's real credit to Sevilla, and you're waiting for Jose Mourinho to do something. He's made a couple of substitutions, but they haven't made the impact that Sevilla subs have.
10 seconds of the 90 minutes remaining, and it will be, I understand, 6 extra minutes. The fourth official, Michael Oliver, will put the numbers board up in a moment. It's going to be a throw which will be taken on the Sevilla left-hand side. There is confirmation. 6 added minutes. Sevilla 1, Roma 1, as we go into those 6 extra minutes. Bale at the back for Sevilla. Too many defensive examinations of his ability tonight. Rakitic playing the ball forward. Gets it back, scoops it to the outside of the right boot, down the left-hand touchline, but over Alex Telles' head, and out of play for a throw that will be taken by Roma. And we've long since been in the position, Scott, really where it's felt like both sides desperately making sure they don't make a mistake now rather than gambling to try and win it. They're at the stage of the game where they know that one mistake will be a fatal error, and they've just got to make sure that it's not them that's guilty of it, and if that means that they don't push forward with quite as much abandon, then so be it. That's how it's felt the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's human nature, isn't it?
And there are Sevilla on the front foot. Ball inside the area, En-Nesyri with a half chance. It was the first time that he really had the ability to get a run at a ball inside the penalty area. Suso's delivery, and he just got there ahead of Smalling, but Smalling did enough, and the header goes over the bar.
Really good 1-2, where in the first half they were just whipping or trying to put the cross in from where Suso had the ball. He then played a 1-2, which meant he was 10 yards further down, and really good cross on his right foot, and that's a decent chance, that it really is. But you're right, it's human nature. You know, you're worried about making a mistake instead of, going for it and say, grasping the net, or we're going to win this game. They just know one mistake, because it's been so tight, because the game has been like that. One mistake and suddenly we've lost it. No one wants to do that.
There's a goal from Juventus deep in added time that stopped Sevilla beating them in Turin, to make sure that they don't concede a goal in added time against Italian opposition again, because if they do, their immaculate record in Europa League finals will be over. Looks like it's heading for extra time. There's still 3.5 minutes of stoppage time before we get to that. The ball is being played back from Navas, and Navas in turn turns it back to his goalkeeper Bono. He controls it, plays it out. Manu Gudelian to Ivan Rakitic. Rakitic working it forward. Man scored as Barcelona won the Champions League some 8 years ago. Another player with a glittering CV and almost 900 games for club and country. It doesn't look as though he's got that many miles in his legs. He's played very well tonight. The ball worked by Gudelia out to the right-hand side of the Sevilla midfield for Jesus Navas. 1-1 it remains in the 94th minute. There's a handball by Ocampos as he tried to make his way forward. It was flicked into him and just an inadvertent reaction that the ball hit his arm, and a free kick has been given Roma's way. He is in no hurry to take this. So a look at options on the bench in terms of Sevilla. They've got striker Rafa Mir, who scored 8 goals this season. They've already brought Eric Lamela on, and Suso as well. So they're the principal attacking options. Papu Gomez as well, the Argentinian who can play as a 10 or as a winger. And he's another one that might be called upon if the game goes into extra time. So we'll get the ball clear down the right-hand touchline. Straight out of play again. It's very scrappy now as the game heads interminably towards extra time.
Yeah, that's exactly the word I was going to use as well. Both teams just waiting, just almost a bit of game management from both sides to not really concede. So if we see a goal now, it's going to be out of nothing really.
The main attacking option that Roma can still call upon is Stefan El Shaarawy. Here comes Sevilla. One moment of brilliance could win this, and a free kick has been given away. Sevilla make their way forward, and the free kick has been given for a handball by the Sevilla player who's claiming that he was fouled. Then he put his hand on the ball, and the referee said, okay, that is a free kick for the handball. Roma took it, gave it away straight away. Smalling is in there strongly, but Sevilla will come again. Got just over a minute to go. The ball is played down to the Sevilla left-hand side. An opportunity for Alex Telles to try and deliver. He checks back out again. Finds Rakitic. Rakitic with another inch-perfect cross-field ball. Well controlled by Suso. Coming in off the right flank for Sevilla. Suso running to the edge of the area with a shot. Spilt by the goalkeeper, but wide. Then back out towards the penalty spot. That one's cleared. Now it comes from Fernando. And he's dragged it about a yard wide of the far post. And that will see us through to extra time.
It should do, but that's a decent chance there again. It's Suso who's come on, made such a difference. He really has. Rui Patricio just spills the shot. They're able to kind of get the ball out somehow. Back to Fernando. He's 20 yards out. Again, you talk about hitting the target. Just hit the target. He hasn't. He's just not caught it properly. And Matt, we are just seconds away now from extra time.
Yeah, the 6 minutes of stoppage time are up. And Rui Patricio's goal kick might be the last kick of the 90 minutes. Indeed, that is the case. Well, many people thought that this would be very tight, a low-scoring affair, bearing in mind the tactical nuances that everybody was anticipating with the Jose Mourinho side. And they've all been proved right. Extra time in the Europa League final again. Sevilla 1, Roma 1 after 90. And Roma are making another change ahead of extra time, and it's a wing-back for a wing-back. Zeki Celik has come off and he's been replaced by the young Polish international Nikola Zalewski, who has played 70-odd first-team games for Roma by the age of 21, 11 internationals as well. Tends to play pretty high up as an attacking wing-back. Interesting to see whether that's what transpires here. He has gone out to the right. He's seen a fair bit of action on the left-hand side. But he did play in both games against Feyenoord over on the right, and he has replaced Celik in that position. We're back underway. 1-1 in Budapest in the first period of extra time in the final of the 2023 Europa League. Another long ball pumped forward by Roma, headed on by Wijnaldum, left-hand side of the penalty area, Spinazzola. They're quick out the traps here, Roma. A far post header wasn't forthcoming. It was played in towards Belotti, but knocked away. And Savilla are going to be able to clear it down towards the Campos. Campos forward towards halfway. Nice turn by Suso. Suso will control it inside the centre circle and play it to his left. An opportunity for Rakitic to get his foot on the ball. Now Fernando, who missed that half chance late in the 90 minutes, down towards Suso again. Suso to Jesus Navas. Navas controlling it and then playing it right in front of Jose Mourinho down the right-hand touchline. Campos able to bring the ball back under control. And if you're joining us here on talksport, expecting to hear the sports bar, then Jenny O'Hara and Jermaine Pennant will follow at the conclusion of this 2023 Europa League final, which is in extra time. 1-1 the score. Barde turning too far outside his own penalty area, finding Navas. A long right-footed ball forward from Navas, and Nasiri going up for it, beaten easily by Smalling. Helped further clear through the midfield, and then the whistle goes for an offside against Belotti. It's a free kick which will be taken on halfway. A couple of minutes gone in extra time. And it should be a 1, Roma 1 on talksport. Here's Scott Minto.
Yeah, Belotti shouldn't be offside in that position. He should be looking along the line quite simply. But again, we're coming up to 2 minutes so far in extra time, and no one really looks as if they're really wanting to bust the gut, to do something different, to maybe leave their space to create something. It's more about let's not concede. We'll have to wait and see whether this develops into a more open game or it just stays tight all the way to penalties. I agree with Kevin Hatchard, absolutely. You know, Sevilla need to... I thought they did find a different way in the early part of the second half. It wasn't just crosses from 40 yards out like it was in the first. But when they've looked the most dangerous, they've played the 1-2s, got 10, 20, 15 yards further up the pitch and then put the crosses in, which is really difficult to defend against.
Alex Telles trying to get the better of Zalewski. The first battle between the pair of them. And the young Polish defender with superior fitness, having only just come off the bench. Telles stood no chance, Telles, of being able to beat him in that race that goes out of play for a goal kick. So how does Mendilibar approach this? Because you know how Mourinho's going to approach it. So he is safety first, all about caution. So when you know that the opposition manager is going to do that, what do Sevilla do? Do they try and take the game to them, or do they say, okay, we'll go the same way and we'll just let this become attritional and play for penalties?
Yeah, I think it's one of those where it's just because of, you know what Jose Mourinho wants. He wants the defensive, he wants the opposition to kind of attack, and then they can counter very quickly in much the same way as the goal came. I think it would be... I can't see Mendilibar doing much different. I can't see him barking out orders and saying let's go gung-ho. I really don't. He's obviously making a couple of substitutions, one of which may well be enforced. But it's one of those now, Jim. One mistake, one small detail, and you've lost it. And I don't think they're willing, either side and either manager are willing to do something really sort of attacking wise to try and win the game. They're just hoping they keep themselves solid and something happens going forward.
So it's a double change that Sevilla are making, and they're withdrawing both of the full-backs. One of them enforced because Alex Telles was really suffering with cramp. Jesus Navas has come off as well, the 37-year-old who has played over 900 games for club and country. He's been replaced and makes his way off now. So Montiel comes on, and whose season has included a substitute appearance in a World Cup final, and now coming on as a substitute in the Europa League final. Former Copa Libertadores winner as well, Gonzalo Montiel. And Karim Rekic, once of Manchester City, Portsmouth and Blackburn, has come on at left back to replace Alex Telles. I say that, he only played 16 games between the three clubs. He's really made his name elsewhere, but Rekic is on. Here's Gino Wijnaldum. Play for Roma towards the edge of the penalty area. Opportunity for Zalewski, who's kept his feet beautifully inside the penalty area, turned one way and then fired in a right-footed shot which was blocked. A little bit more proactive that from Roma. We haven't seen too much proactivity at all from them. since they took the lead with Dybala. They've got it again in the midfield. Ibanez. Still just 8 shots all evening from Roma, only 3 of those on target, but 3 means they've had 1 more than Sevilla. Ball played down the Giallorossi right. Sliding challenge comes in, and it goes out of play off Rakitic for a corner. The first of extra time, which will be taken over on the Roma right-hand side. 96 gone, 1-1.
Yeah, set pieces might be the way when the game's so tight. It's a correct decision. He wasn't happy, Rakitic, but it is a corner. And again, you know, when things are so tight, these sort of set pieces, we know there's the height of Roma, all the defenders and midfielders, 6 foot plus. The quality comes in, anything can happen.
And it is swung in right-footed towards Chris Smalling, but headed away by Barde. It comes outside the penalty area for Nemanja Matic. Matic will take it down towards the left flank. There's one of the Sevilla substitutes warming up. Applauds Suso. He was talking him through it, how to make a challenge, when to commit. And then when he got it right and the ball came off him and out of play for a throw, gave him a rapturous round of applause and then carried on warming up. Throw taken by Spinazzola. Gets it back and he fires it way back inside his own half, out of harm's way, and Chris Smalling has to retrace the steps about 20 yards to bring the ball under control. Long right-footed delivery from Smalling down towards the Roma left. Spinazzola has ended up in a crumpled heap, and Sevilla allowed to play on. Suso work forward through the midfield towards the edge of the penalty area. En-Nesyri trying to get free. Lamela with a little layoff instead to Suso. Out he goes towards the left flank for Rekic. A play back through the midfield towards Fernando. Now around towards carrying Rekic again, the recently arrived fullback. Videlia's got it. Now to Barde. Barde turning it forward. Down towards Montiel. Montiel finds Suso. Roma again having to do a lot of chasing. A lot of doggies off the ball here as Videlia will make his way forward. It's poked into the path of Rakitic and straight back again. Rakitic has got the captain's armband now that Navas has gone off. Montiel, Suso, a little bit too long and straight, the ball inside the area, and Smalling heads it away and almost finds Jose Mourinho, his manager, with the defensive header. Out of play, 98 gone, 1-1.
You can see how well drilled Roma are, even after 97, 9 to 8 minutes. You know, they just kind of break the lines to the end, yet before you know it, they've got all 11 players back behind the ball. So Sevilla then have had to come out again and then pass around. And you know, you're right, there's a few of the attacking players of Roma who are doing doggies at the moment, and they won't want to be doing that, but Jose Mourinho will be delighted. They look really, really compact.
Big prize at stake, not just European silverware, a place in next season's Champions League, and neither of them will have it if they don't win this game. They also will have the opportunity to win the UEFA Super Cup as well, against either Manchester City or Inter Milan, the Champions League winners. That Super Cup final takes place in Piraeus in Greece on August the 16th, and we'll find out who's won the Champions League a week Saturday, the 10th of June in Istanbul. Champions League final, live from the stadium. Manchester City potentially chasing the treble by then, depending on what happens in the FA Cup final this weekend. The City in action against Inter Milan, and that's a week Saturday, the Champions League final kicking off at 8 on talksport. Spinazzola was just beaten by Suso, then foul of Campos, and it's a free kick to Sevilla as we tick into the 100th minute of the game.
Yeah, not a lot happening now, is that? Again, is that midfield battle, the worry about, am I going to make a mistake? You know, who wants to win it, who doesn't want to lose it? At the moment, the fear of failure is certainly clutching everybody on both teams.
Yep, not a lot going on. We are almost into Scott Minto, the Rotherham years. That's the state of play. The ball is cleared. I could pay no higher a compliment than that. Here's Spinazzola working it back through the midfield for Matic. Matic taking it over halfway and working it through the centre circle, and that towards the right. Mancini, a long forward delivery from him. It's headed away by Barde. Back behind Wijnaldum, and then a Campos will try and clear. He's had a really good night. He's had his patchy moments, I guess, but he's really done everything he could. Look neat and tidy in possession, trying to take the game to Roma.
Yeah, and even in the first half, he was like the best attacking player for Sevilla, wasn't he?
There's Eric Lamela working in tandem with Karen Rekic out on that Savilla left flank. 5 minutes to go in this first period of extra time. 1-1 the score. It's been the score since the 55th minute of the game. And Jose just down on his haunches for a moment as he wanted a slightly different perspective, looking across through the midfield, but he's now back regained his full height as Savilla will bring it forward, almost able to play a decent defence splitting ball down the inside left channel. Then Matic is fouled on the edge of his own penalty area by Suso, and it's a free kick which will be taken by Roma.
First bit of positive play we've seen from either side in the last 5 minutes was when Suso picked up the ball there. He just ran past Cristante, who looked really tired. He went into the wall that is the man of Matic. In the end, gave the free kick away, but it looked like he's trying to do something whenever he's been on the ball. Eric Lamela as well, to be fair. I think Suso, though, has been Sevilla's best player, certainly in the second half with coming on, because he looks as if he wants to try and create something. Everyone else is just pass. He and Lamela, the only two. You can say a Campos as well, but here is a more technical way of playing, rather than, right, I'm going to get the ball down and try and take you on. So Suso, for me, if Sevilla are going to get the winner here, he's got to be involved in it somehow.
Well, if he's going to come, he's got 18 minutes to find it. Here's Chris Smalling, played forward, and he goes out of play for a throw. We've already brought you one final on talksport this week, where the drama was reserved to stoppage time at the end of extra time. Sheffield Wednesday winning that controversial League One playoff against Barnsley on Monday afternoon in the 123rd minute. Here's Spinazzola. He's just danced around the Campos' challenge. That's excellent play, but the pass wasn't anything like as good. He missed one out of from close range. Sevilla clear it, and Pellegrini, in stopping a through ball, flicked it out of play. Jose's just having a word with Stefan El Shaarawy. A change is going to be imminent as far as Roma are concerned. How many have they brought on? They've got 3 on so far, so they've got 3 left. As now we've gone into extra time, you can have 6. And Sevilla, for their part, have got 2 left. 1-1 the scoreline with 2 minutes of this first period to go.
I think if you're going to make substitutions now, you have in mind who are good penalty takers, especially with it being so tight here and no real chances being created. I'm sure Jose Mourinho will be thinking, right, who are going to be my 5? Still time, not even half time of extra time, so you can hold them back a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if they come on at half time of extra time. But certainly any substitutions made now are very much with the penalties in mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's heavy odds on that it's going to go to penalties, you would imagine. You're not going to be taking a penalty taker off. Campos, with a delivery from the right-hand side, sails over the head of En-Nesyri. It's one of those nights where he's glad he's not getting paid by the touch tonight. Yusuf En-Nesyri, the top scorer in Europe this season for Sevilla with 6, including a couple against Manchester United in the quarter-final second leg. And 1 goal in his last 7 games in all competitions, which came at Juventus in the first leg of the semi. And he's hardly had a sniff tonight. Smalling's done a good job against him.
He has, he's done really well. Again, we can talk about the way that the crosses have been coming in. There have been some times in the second half where they were from good angles, and obviously the own goal came from that as well. But in terms of him personally, El-Nesyri, it's been a difficult night for him, as it was for Tammy Abraham.
Dybala scoring the goal for Roma on 35, and Mancini putting the ball through his own net on 55. 1-1, and that's still the way of it in the closing seconds of the first period of extra time. It's Montiel. Plays it down towards the right-hand touchline for Suso. Suso back inside his own half. Barde, Gudelia had that fearsome clash of heads in the opening couple of minutes of the game, but hasn't affected him. And as they are able to bring the ball forward, and that's the most cynical pull of a shirt you could wish to see. Zalewski gets a yellow card for it. You can't have any complaints. It's the 6th Roma player booked.
He most definitely can't. He had about 3 goes at trying to rugby tackle him. Didn't really need to do it. It wasn't as if he was, going on goal. So, okay, he's gone past you. Get back in place. Still on the halfway line. Again, now you've got a yellow card. Now you need to be careful about any mistimed tackles.
Rekic was the player that he stopped. A couple of minutes of time added on at the end of the first period of extra time, so that's going to be 15 additional minutes of stoppage time that we will have played.
How many minutes have been in play?
Not as many as the UEFA officials would like, I think it's fair to say. Here's a rare corner. Sevilla's fifth of the game, so first of extra time. Rakitic is going to take it. Hail of plastic cups coming down in his general direction as he swings the ball in. Chris Smalling doing some strong defending, just stopping any of the Sevilla players getting a run towards the ball at the far post. And he did well to ease En-Nesyri out of it. Then Nesyri then turned and fell into Smalling and claimed the penalty. He didn't even fall into Smalling. No. He just claimed the penalty. He just threw himself to his knees like an intolerant 3-year-old who's just been told it's bedtime. And it's just like, no, I'm not going. Just please, something, just anything happen. 1-1. And we're in the 106th minute of the game. Rui Patricio to take a goal kick. And he clears it left-footed, over halfway. Way over halfway. Flicked on by Cristante. A miscued volley by Bardet. And a throw to Roma, which they've just about got time to take with about 15 seconds left in this first period of extra time.
There's been a couple of times that Milivojevic thrown his hands in the air when Bardet's made some either bad passes or mistimed challenges. So there's frustration there from the manager, but you would have thought that would be it now. Yep.
And indeed it is. So by the time Spinazzola took the throw and it was played back to him, we reach the turnaround. So 105 minutes still, can't separate them. Will the next 15? Sevilla 1, Roma 1 at half-time and extra time. Diego Llorente is on, so he has the opportunity to be relegated from the Premier League and win the Europa League in the same season. The man on loan from Leeds has come on to replace Spinazzola. El Shaarawy is on for Pellegrini. So double change made by Jose Mourinho ahead of the second period of extra time. And I'm going to be cynical, not for the first time in my life. You said that the first period of extra time wasn't good. It might be the better of the two periods of extra time that we see. Rekic will go back to his goalkeeper, Bono. And Bono will play it out to the left-hand side for Sevilla again. A long ball launched forward by Karim Rekic and headed away. Gadelli going up for it. It'll bounce once and twice and then be put off the island by Zalewski and out of play for a throw. Scott?
It will be interesting to see how El Shaarawy plays, because he's the one who's attacking play. He's come on, he's got nothing to lose, he's got 15 minutes to make himself a hero. So I can imagine him sort of trying to do something and create something. But yeah, I think most of the other players who've been on the pitch, certainly for the 105 minutes so far, I think they're just wanting to kind of stick rather than twist.
El Shaarawy has scored in each of his last 3 games. And off the bench to score against Feyenoord earlier in this cup run. Sevilla try and work it forward. It's half cleared. Rakitic keeps it alive. Played out towards Bardet. Now at the right-hand touchline, Montiel taking it down towards the corner flag, and he's won a corner. The first in this second period of extra time, which will be taken on the Sevilla right in front of those Spanish fans. It's taken quickly. It was conceded by El Shaarawy. Taken quickly towards the right-hand side of the penalty area, swung in towards the near post and headed clear by Belotti. Gadelli from distance and got the power in it, but not the direction. It's a yard wide.
Again, he just pulled it in the way that Fernando did earlier in the game. A quick corner, and I think rightly so, because I think in terms of pure height, Roma certainly have it. So play the quick corner, see what can happen. It goes out to Gadelli, and let's just say I think that's a centre-back shot.
Yeah, didn't hit it particularly sweetly. It was the finish of a man who scored 4 goals in 163 games for Sevilla.
Wonder how many of those with his feet.
Not from 30 yards. I'm guessing. Haven't seen them all, but I'm going to stick my neck on the line. 107 gone. Sevilla 1, Roma 1. Zalewski. Right-footed clip ball forward, not with any great poise or quality, trying to get it into the runner. Cristante ahead of it, who's blowing high. It's gone out of play for a goal kick. They changed, so they've got El Shaarawy coming up the left-hand side now with Belotti. They changed here to a back 4, Roma. Hard to see from the from the angle that we're looking at these pictures, so the shot's seldom wide enough to be able to tell definitively. But I just wonder whether Mourinho has flattened things up.
Well, I think certainly with the substitution, that in itself is positive. And put on the likes of El Shaarawy as well. Absolutely. We want to get on the ball and try to do something attacking wise. Not able to do that as yet.
And Savilla will be able to bring it forward again now. Pushing forward towards the edge of the penalty area, but Lamela has had a free kick given against him, and he just went in shoulder to shoulder, and there was a flailing arm that caught one of the Roma players in the face. Matic has also gone down, holding his backside. He's just down on halfway as he went in strongly on Fernando. It was a follow through that just caught Matic. That just caught Fernando. It was the knee right into the just above the glutes, and then Lamela had given a free kick away. 2 or 3 seconds after that, the Roma player that was affected is still down, holding his face in the midfield. 1-1 with 11 to go.
Yeah, I think it's Ibanez, and he's definitely got a cut in his mouth there, and it looked a little bit naughty there from Lamela. I have to say, he was seeing the challenge coming in. And there's protecting, and then there's kind of sticking your elbow out. I think there was another replay of that. Difficult to kind of overturn it and say you should get a red card because you are trying to protect the ball. He's got the yellow for it, but he's certainly caught him.
So that's the 10th yellow card shown, one of them to a member of Jose Mourinho's coaching staff, one to a substitute, and 8 to players on the field.
Jamie and Jermaine are not going to get until 11-12 o'clock here by the way they're going.
This will be one of those penalty shootouts where you've seen very little action in the box. It's one of the penalty shootouts where no one misses, and it'll end up being 15-14 or something. Well, it was that Villarreal Manchester United shootout went to 22 penalties just a couple of years ago. David De Gea missed, and the other 21 players on the field all scored theirs. So you can see some long ones, and it wouldn't surprise you if this was one of them.
There's been a lot of injury time already, hasn't there? We talked about 15 minutes. It's going to be probably 20 minutes over the whole time.
Yeah, 7 at the end of the first half, 6 at the end of the second, and then 2 between these 2 halves of extra time.
If he's stitching him up, is he stitching his lip up?
It looked that way, didn't it? Just the lower lip, just on the left-hand side, just down by the canine teeth. Seemingly whether one of the canines come down where he got hit and went through that lower lip, possibly. It might have been a blow inflicted by the elbow. Anyway, he's sitting up again now, having been lying on his back whilst they were attending him.
He's been down a few times tonight, hasn't he? It's been a physical battle for him. He's a big boy, he should be able to handle it, he should enjoy it.
He's making his 150th appearance for the club today. He's been in the wars. He gets back to his feet, and you could see that his lip is already really thickened up.
I don't think he's drinking too much champagne tonight, even if they do win.
Oh, I bet he does.
I'm trying. Have a funnel.
Yeah, straw. They'll find something for him. He's just going off the field now. So this is going to add another 3 minutes probably of time at the end of this second period of extra time. Remember, Jamie O'Hara and Jermaine Pennant will be here with the Sports Bar at the end of this game here on talksport. Played 111, Sevilla 1, Roma 1. Ibanez is going to be able to come back on now the play restarts. Headed on, Belotti chasing it, right hand side of the penalty area, drives it across, which hits Gudelia and goes out of play for a corner.
Well, at least Roma have got forward, and again we talk about when it's really tight, set pieces really important. They've got the height. Will they put all the big guns up there? Why not? Why not? Of course, protect the counter-attack, but this is a great opportunity to get the winner in a game where neither team was able to open the other side up over the last 20-30 minutes.
Zaleski to take the corner from the Roma right, swung towards the edge of the 6-yard box and headed away well by Gudelia. Lamela trying to improvise. He had teammates running to his left-hand side, but the little back heel flick didn't come off. Roma work it all the way back for their goalkeeper, and Rui Patricio clears. Long upfield, 80 yards or so, flicked on by Cristante, hit Belotti, and then is mopped up by Rekic, who fires it back at his goalkeeper, and then Rekic points out towards the opposite fullback Montiel and tells him that that's the pass he needs to play. Bono obliged. And let's work back across the defensive line from right to left. Via Bardet and Gudeliak down towards Rekic. Rakitic will try and take it on. With the ball forward towards En-Nesyri, who found it difficult to control it. It looks as though he's playing almost by memory now, and just trying to drag his aching body through it. Ball clear, goes out of play for a Roma throw. Jose acting as the ball boy, but that's really an exercise in killing time rather than taking a quick throw.
Yeah, and just on En-Nesyri, you mentioned it earlier how well Chris Smalling has marshalled him. He's been superb tonight, Smalling, he really has. Now that's a proper physical battle, and yet whenever the crosses have come in, he's always been there in the right place, defending really well. Fair play to the Englishman there.
Belotti has won another throw, down by the corner flag. 6 minutes of extra time, probably 10 minutes of time to be played when you factor in stoppage time as well. It's going to be a throw which will be taken by Zalewski on the Roma right. How long is the throw? Not bad, in towards the corner of the 6-yard box. It's headed away. And En-Nesyri protecting the ball, guided it back for Lamela. Cleared upfield by Rakitic, returned by Smalling's head, then helped on by Mancini, scorer of the own goal that got Sevilla back on level terms. Rakitic mopping up again, goes back to his goalkeeper Bono. No real thought of a press from El Shaarawy or Belotti. They just let Bono have all the time that he wanted to clear the ball upfield. He's found Lamela with it. Lamela trying to get away from Zalewski. Left-footed shot, hits Smalling. Bounces back out towards Lamela on the edge of the penalty area. Sevilla getting the bodies forward. Roma with everybody back in a Giallorossi shirt with the exception of Belotti. Right-footed ball. Stood up inside the penalty area by Montiel. Headed away again by Chris Smalling. Fernando gets his head to it in the midfield, and Rakitic will run round and pick the loose ball up. 5 to go. Suso dragging the ball back inside away from the tiring Cristante. He's visibly shattered. Cristante. Play forward by Suso. Suso into the feet of Fernando. And his aching body through it, the 36-year-old. Now comes down towards Ivan Rakitic on the left. Right through crossfield ball. Didn't get the elevation that he wanted on that. Was headed away by Wijnaldum, but just to safety. And Bardet's got plenty of time to run around it, pick it up and bring it under control inside his own half until the whistle goes. Which the referee seeing this time is stopping play. As one of the Roma players has gone down off the ball. It's Matic that's down here.
Just saw Rakitic on the ball, and I think he's played really well tonight, I have to say, but that was a really tired crossfield pass. And Matic is down with cramp. Again, I think if the players are asked to just finish the game now and take penalties, I think they'll probably say yes, because they're out on their feet at the moment. Even the ones who have come on, the substitutions are now not really making an impression.
He has got one change left at his disposal, Jose Mourinho. And I just wonder whether the stage is set for Eduardo Bove, 21-year-old. Scored the winner against Leverkusen in the first leg of the semi-final. They protected that lead on the night and then kept a clean sheet in the second leg as well. Went through 1-0 on aggregate. Bove left out tonight, and many thought a little bit unlucky to be left out. He's only got 45 senior games behind him. And the likes of Rakitic and Navas almost 20 times that. I just wonder whether Bove might get an opportunity to come on if Matic can't continue. Jose just having a couple of words with him. And referee Taylor is indicating, he's pointing to his watch and indicating that he is adding on all this time, and play now restarts with the drop ball at the feet of Bardet. Well, we could easily see 7 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the 15-minute half of extra time here. We'll find out very shortly how many it's going to be. We're in the 118th minute of the game. It's still 1-1 here on talksport. Rakitic lays the ball off towards Bardet. Now it's played forward down the Sevilla right. They haven't made the change. Matic is back on and is continuing to put his body through it. Another crossfield ball down towards the Savilla left-hand side. Play forward by Rakitic. Rakitic trying to get there. Zalewski got in between him and the ball. I felt the contact, went to ground. Free kick to Roma in their right-back position with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, we're just counting down now, aren't we? Again, everyone really, really tired. Zalewski does well. Just gets his body there. He's one of the freshest players on the pitch. It'd be good as well if we wearing pink boots. The passes haven't been justifying him wearing pink boots, but I think it's one of those where probably almost from 75, 80 minutes in, mentally, psychologically, you're thinking, I don't want to be making a mistake. Yeah, there's still effort there. We're not really going for it.
Well, play stopped again because Matic has gone down again, and I think that they're going to have to make the change now. So Bove is stripped and ready for action, and there's more anger on the bench. I think Sevilla feel that this is a deliberate time-wasting tactic, and they're making the point to Jose Mourinho. There are a couple of substitutes are going over there and are having their say. Jose, never a shrinking violet, is standing his ground. He's saying, I'm trying to make the change. I want to bring him on. And now he's got his arm around the back of the neck of one of the Sevilla delegation. But in a kind of friendly way, friendly with a small f, rather than a completely antagonistic one. They're all smiles and smiling about it. But the bottom line is that Matic, who's back on his feet, is he not coming off after all of that? This is a magnificent masterclass in time wasting. If he's going to stay on here.
I mean, it does look like a substitution is going to be made, but Matic. Yeah, no, he's coming off.
He received the treatment and then did what he could to get as close to the middle of the pitch as he could before his number came up, to give him the most distance to leave the field to run more seconds off the clock.
I'm not going to say that's why Mourinho loves Matic so much and takes him everywhere, but you get the feeling there's a bit of a kindred spirit. He understands what Mourinho wants, doesn't he?
He's fully digested the Mourinho playbook. He's off. Bove's on. How many extra minutes are going to be added at the end of this period? 6. There's a 15-minute half, and we're getting another 6 minutes. And we're in them now. So that could be 9, really. Sevilla will bring the ball forward. And they're in possession, play it out towards the right-hand side. Wijnaldum flicking the ball away. Roma will bring it towards halfway. Volleyed by Cristante, but it was a poor ball through the midfield. It was easily picked up by his opposite number 4, Karim Rekic. Back from him to Gadelia. High ball forward from him out towards the right-hand touchline. It goes out of play for a throw in the 121st minute of the game. And that does mean that we'll see a minimum of 21 minutes of added time in this match. Mourinho, incidentally, has also picked up a yellow card for his part in the lively debates about the Matic cramp time-wasting scenario. So Jose's in the book as well. It's going to take Anthony Taylor to start next season to do the report for this. Ball is flicked off around the corner inside the penalty area. Sevilla with an opportunity now, getting into a good position, couldn't pull it back towards Ennaciri. Right-footed ball now is clipped in. It's a deeper one. Ennaciri goes up for it. It was a tired attempt at a header, leaning into his man. He was guarding it wide anyway, but it was a comfortable save from Rui Patricio.
I'll tell you what a wonderful opportunity. It looked like Cristante was going to make a tackle. He did well to come out of it. And Montiel, well, I'm sure he would have gone down if Cristante had done that, but good play in the end.
Might have been a handball by Ennaciri. Just mistimed his jump and went up for it. I think it probably hit his hand. It wouldn't have counted anyway, but it was good play by Montiel, as you mentioned.
It's not been in the series night though, is it, at all? No. You know, even when Chris Smalling hasn't been all over him, his touch, his positional sense has just not quite been there, and where you're wanting him to be that big physical threat and aerially as well, it's not happened for him. Which again, then psychologically, if you haven't had a great game going into a penalty shootout, you know, you're going in not feeling confident. That's the last thing you need.
About 2.5 minutes of the 6th additional. And a reminder that the sports bar follows at the end of this game, which almost certainly will be at the end of a penalty shootout. Another yellow card, incidentally, was shown to Jordan, the Sevilla substitute, who was the player that was having that close range conversation with Jose,
being grabbed by him.
So he's in the book as well. And a free kick which Zalewski will take for Roma. Score here, they surely won it. Right-footed ball in towards the penalty spot, easily headed away. It was one of Enes-Siri's best and most important touches of the night. Back in it goes, Cristante with a little header down. Now there's a clash of heads inside the penalty area. Players from both sides are lying down hurt. A play will continue as another man goes down on the far touchline. Now it will stop, and Ibanez has been in the wars all night. Is down with Gudelia, and he needs some treatment to his knee, and the referee's pulled the yellow card out again.
He's running out of space on that yellow card of his, Anthony Taylor, and Ibanez down. Well, it must be the 5th time he's gone down now. With 2 centre-halves going down, and actually I'm sure he's absolutely genuine, but if Ibanez hadn't have gone down, the ball kind of fell back to him a few seconds later, and he might have had a chance at goal, but in the end, no. I think he feels he was stamped on. Gudelia just grabbing. Nothing in that at all. Ibanez trying to win a penalty, the slightest of touches. And we are literally just waiting now, aren't we? Waiting for penalty shootout.
Well, another yellow card has been shown. This one to Montiel for the free kick that he's just given away. So the 6 minutes that were prescribed for stoppage time, we've probably seen about 90 seconds of football within the 4 minutes of stoppage time we've seen so far.
Must be close to about 20, 25, or 25 rather than 20, or over 20.
Yeah.
25 minutes of injury time, so plus the 120 minutes as well.
Now, it's a game that kicked off at 8, and it's now, 11:15.
I feel like I'm in a different time zone.
Watching the game makes you feel like you're in a different time zone as well. It's what I would describe as, this is a sweeping generalisation, but you and I are of a similar vintage, but the European ties that you used to watch on the telly when you were growing up were reminiscent to this, where you didn't really see the ball in play an awful lot, and it could be quite slow and tepid at times, and it's just felt like that. But don't get me wrong, there's so much at stake, and I'm not belittling them at all. The bottom line is, if you're a Sevilla or a Roma supporter, you want your side to win, and I would have, if this was my team employing these tactics in these circumstances, I would have absolutely no problem with it whatsoever. So I understand the mindset, but
are we going to see Torquay in the Europa League final? Is that what you're saying?
Listen, they keep inventing European competitions, but I don't think that that's ever going to happen.
No, you're absolutely spot on, though. The fans will not care once the dust settles on this game. Whoever wins, that's ultimately what it's all about. And you know that that's all Jose Mourinho cares about, but you can say the same for Mendelebar as well.
Yeah, it's a results business when it comes down to it, and the difference between winning and losing this is immense. European silverware, place in the Champions League, place in the Super Cup final. Gudelia is having that left knee stretched now. The 6 minutes of added time at the end of this second period of extra time have elapsed, but play is still, I would imagine, going to continue for another 2.5. I kind of lost track of.
I think it'd be more than that, to be honest.
It could well be. Now this is a good story. Gudelia's coming off, and he's going to be replaced by Marcao, the Brazilian centre-half they signed from Galatasaray. Now, he was injured against Manchester United in the quarter-finals. He's had an injury blighted time in Seville, but he's got himself back fit in time to come on for the last knockings of stoppage time at the end of extra time of the final. So Marcao for Gudelia is the Sevilla change.
And maybe even take a penalty. I'm not quite sure, and you've been sitting there for, I would say 120 minutes, but I think it's more 140 minutes. Plus the half-time you're watching, you don't think you're going to come on, and suddenly you're on.
Yeah, because I would imagine that he wasn't the penalty taker.
No.
But
he might be.
It's not like, say, Rafa Mir or Jordan, who is sitting on the bench, or Papa Gomez, who will be thinking, well, at some stage I'm probably going to come on and get a couple of minutes. He won't have expected that he's going to get the very late call off the bench, but it's been enforced because of this Gadelia injury.
Absolutely. So again, first thing he's got to do is make sure his side continues to keep that clean sheet, and then when it gets to penalties, I can't see him being in the top 5, but we might be having perfect penalties and getting towards 6, 7, 8 and 9, and that's when he'll start to get nervous.
And now Fernando has got what looks like a really bad bit of cramp. He's making way, and Jordan is going to come on to replace him. So if my maths is correct, that is their changes done now. That's numbers 5 and 6 for Sevilla. Jordan, he's come back after 6 weeks out injured at the weekend. Was in the side that won this competition 3 years ago. 185th Sevilla appearance, so he is very much got the fabric of the club running through him. And after all of that, the changes and the histrionics and the treatment, and I make it 5 minutes of treatment for that injury alone, play will restart with the free kick that Montiel gave away. We're in the 129th minute of the game. Zaleski is going to take this free kick. It's going to be a right-footed in-swinging delivery, punched away by the goalkeeper. Bono got his punch outside the penalty area. Even yes has been brought down by Lamela, and that will be a free kick, level with the edge of the box. Campos arguing about the decision as he talked his way into the book. Yes, he has. So he's been cautioned. And I think Eric Lamela's going to be spoken to. Lamela has already got a yellow card.
Well, it's cynical. It's definitely cynical. Ibanez does really well getting past Lamela. I think Lamela's got away with that one. No, not even trying to go for the ball. Made sure he's got the man.
And now another yellow card has been shown to someone on the Roma bench. That's at least 3 of the Roma delegation that have picked up cautions without being on the field. I make it 12 players who've been booked.
Is that why you got your toes out now?
Well, you predicted it was going to happen. And they're going to take the free kick from the wrong place. It's a much better angle where they've spotted it down. And Zalewski's put it down 2 yards to the southeast corner of the penalty area, where the actual infringement was about 4 yards further forward. This is a much better angle that he's got to swing this in now. In comes the free kick towards the edge of the 6-yard box, well defended by En-Nesyri, to give him credit. He tracked the runner, Cristante, heads it over the bar for a corner.
Brilliant header, absolutely brilliant header, because I tell you what, there were Roma players in behind. They were just ready to put that in the back of the net. They would have been inside the 6-yard box, and Bono wouldn't have been able to get there.
It was Karsdorp that was booked, one of the Roma subs. In comes the corner, Smalling back across the face of goal. Does that hit the bar? And it bounces then back down and is flicked wide. Just hit the top of the bar from Chris Smalling, trying to get it back into a dangerous area. Sevilla survive it, and we're in the 12th minute of added time at the end of this period of 15 minutes.
Yeah, you do think that's got to be it. Chris Smalling just finding himself again, not for the first time tonight, at the far post, and you're right, just heading it back towards the other way where it came from, hitting the crossbar and just bouncing out.
Ball is cleared by Bade, and it's been brought down by Campos, and that is it. And we go through to a penalty shootout. 147 minutes of action could not separate them. Dybala on 35, Mancini putting through his own net on 55. Since then, very little football, plenty of injury, plenty of yellow cards, but Chris Smalling nearly won it right at the death. As it is, it's 1-1. Penalties are next, and the penalties are going to be taken in front of the Sevilla fans, and they are going first. And it's going to be Campos to take the first one. Lucas Campos had a loan spell at Ajax earlier this season. Stands hands on hips, runs up, hits it right-footed, and sends it into the bottom left-hand corner. Perfect start.
Brilliant. And how confident was that as well? That is not easy to do in the Europa League final penalty shootout. Just looking up, and he almost gave it the eyes there as well. but just having that confidence to wait until the last second for the keeper to go one way and you go the other.
It's the third successive Europa League final that's gone to penalties. Rangers beaten last season. Aaron Ramsey missing decisively. David De Gea missed one the previous shootout as Manchester United lost to Villarreal. Who is going to be the one that misses in this one? It's Cristante first up for Roma. Big advantage for Sevilla having gone first and with the penalties in front of their fans. Cristante takes it. That's a great penalty, even better than the Ocampos one. He's larruped it into the bottom left-hand corner, and it's a penalty apiece.
Yeah, and Bono went the right way, but he hit it with such pace, such force. I actually think Bono kind of dived over it. But again, because he hit it hard, it went in the back of the net.
It's a long time since Roma have had a penalty shootout. Sevilla won their last one, which is a Copa del Rey tie against fourth-tier opposition last season. Well, they won 7-6. Lamela is up next for them. Eric Lamela to hit it left-footed, and he's thrown into the bottom right-hand corner this time. And with enough power and precision to get it under the dive of Rui Patricio, and all three penalties have been successfully taken.
Yeah, on his left foot, he scuffed it a little bit. He didn't really have a great connection, but it was wide enough for the keeper not to get anywhere near it in the end.
Sevilla did win one of their Europa Leagues on penalties, and after a dour game against Benfica back in 2014, but they won the shootout that time. Mancini next up for Roma. Goal must be looking small when you're 150 minutes in. Mancini did it right-footed. Oh, he's hit the foot of the diving goalkeeper. It's advantage Sevilla.
Well, again, it wasn't a great penalty. Bono will be absolutely delighted. He almost dives out of the way. You can see what Mancini was trying to do, just strike it down the middle. But just because Bono hasn't quite got towards the left-hand side, and because he's so tall as well, he stuck out his leg. And that could be a crucial save.
So 2-1 Sevilla after two penalties apiece. Next up, Rakitic. Rui Patricio, the bearded goalkeeper, staring at the ball, willing himself to make a save. Rakitic hits it, rolls it into the bottom left-hand corner. Great penalty, sent the keeper the wrong way. And Sevilla have scored 3 from 3. Roma 1 from their 2.
Yeah, great penalty. Someone of the utmost of experience has been there, seen it, done it. Again, it wasn't the cleanest of strikes, but because his body shape looks like he's going one way, the keeper's gone that way, and he's just wrapped his foot around it.
Roma have only ever won one European penalty shootout. It was 40 years ago against the Swedish side Norrköping in the UEFA Cup. Beaten, of course, on penalties in the European Cup final by Liverpool in the 83-84 season. Even he has been in the wars, bloodied lip. But can he put this penalty away to keep Roma only one behind? Hits it right-footed. Oh, he's hit the post. Really poor penalty. Didn't have too much power. He's come back off the post. And if Sevilla score the next one, they've won.
I find it really interesting that of the three guys so far have taken the penalties to Roma, two of them have been the centre halves, and the other one is not exactly an attacking midfielder. He's hit the post. I think Bono would have saved it even if it was on target, and now this could be it.
3-1 to Sevilla after three penalties apiece. And is the story written for Gonzalo Montiel again. Came off the bench in the World Cup final and put the winning penalty away for Argentina. Comes off the bench in the Europa League final and misses. Patricio diving down to his left-hand side. Lightning doesn't strike twice for Montiel.
Well, he can't have felt any more nervous this time around in the World Cup final, but it wasn't the best of penalties at all. His body shape was showing he was going that way, so it really needed to be in the corner. It wasn't, and
it's going to be a retake.
Wow. My goodness me.
And they've said that Rui Patricio was off his line. And the penalty will be retaken because of encroachment.
And he would have saved it if he hadn't have been off the line. It wasn't a good penalty at all.
So that one went to the keeper's left. Which way's Montiel going this time? He's gone the other way and wins the Europa League for Sevilla. Yet again, they find a way. This is their competition. And they have won it for a 7th time. Delirious scenes as Sevilla win European football's 2nd competition in 2023. A hat-trick of Europa League triumphs in 14, 15 and 16. They won it in 20. And now they've ended Jose Mourinho's peerless run in European finals. Montiel, the hero, as he was in the World Cup final, when he came off the bench to dispatch the winning penalty, and he's done it again tonight in the Europa League, having seen his first one saved, but the encroachment meant he got another go, and Sevilla have won it. Not a final that will live long in the memory. Heartbreak for Roma. Unable to add this to the Conference League that they won last year. It's Sevilla's night. They are through to the Champions League for next season. They have their hands on the Europa League for the 5th time. This competition in its incarnations for the 7th. Rapturous scenes of rejoice. What a night for Jose Luis Mendilibar, who only a few weeks ago had never even managed a single European tie in his 900 matches in his career over 14 clubs. Now he's a European winner, the oldest man ever to lift this trophy. Sevilla have come from behind. They've won on penalties. Sevilla win the 2023 Europa League.